The following program is meant for adult audiences only. If you are easily offended, you are choosing to be offended by continuing to watch. If jokes upset you, whether bad or good, you might end up crying. Being a bitch in life is difficult, I imagine, but you must find a way to continue. For all the haters and lurkers, hope you enjoy the show. For the bigot army, enjoy the show. Don't be a pussy.
そうだ。テレビつけてもいいぞ。冒険アニメ。よりによって。サイレンサー付きの拳銃だと。ワクワク。
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Grifter Zone.
My crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's 'cause Jesus Christ is.
Man, I want to get drunk in a hotel room with you.
That might be taken
Crazy.
out of context.
Gay, gay, gay.
Oh. No. What? The bracket gifted this and I'm immediately called an anti-Semite? Come on, dog.
Bruh.
What are these characters? Nazi furry? Hypno, why would you do this to me? Said, welcome to Goonergate. Protect your booty hole.
What's up, nerds? It's Alyssa Mercante, Kotaku senior editor, and
Nobody even wants you here.
And I would take her to Chili's, maybe. You know, like, genuinely, I just want the best for her. Genuinely.
Listen, if it was consensual and you didn't hate the Jews, I'd fuck the shit out of you. I would.
What did he say? People are gonna clip that. You know that I don't.
Clip it. I know you don't. Come on, but that's the thing. Why can't we have fun?
Bruh.
That's an interesting way of putting. That makes sense.
He's jealous. Fuck yeah. Been knew I was that bitch. I didn't need a man to tell him to fuck.
And Hypnotic again, member for 1 month. Thank you. Enjoy First Berserker. What's that black stuff between an elephant's toes? Slow natives. Wait.
Wild.
Yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum. Yes.
Okay.
I'd say that goes out of dad into dark, but sure, yeah.
Definitely dark.
Somebody replies and it says, "This is embarrassing." And he says, "Not as embarrassing as your take on trans kids. It was not researched. It was cruel and it had no basis in facts. So forgive me if I don't take all your takes that seriously." Who's this person?
Bruh.
Look at the fucking thumbnail. God of Cock Meltdown. Oh my God, look at this. Oh man. Yeah, sure. Trans kids, for sure, man.
Right, but you're giving an opinion on an article with a headline that's inflammatory. So the fact that you're giving an opinion on what's on screen,
Did I focus on the inflammatory nature of the headline?
Well, can I assume that everything in this article you would agree with?
You shouldn't assume. It makes an ass out of yourself and me.
Okay, so
down his timeline, you're gonna see a lot of ass and titties. Okay, me on my Twitter timeline, you ain't gonna see none of that. As a matter of fact, like I can show you, I can scroll down my entire news feed on Twitter. Why would you ruin my point? I'm trying. God damn, why would you ruin it? I didn't do that. I don't know who this chick is. Why would you do that? I can't even edit it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Someone you love been canceled? Have you been the target of online harassment because of something you said or refused to be compelled to say by the mob? Did you mistakenly think you could be an individual, form your own opinions, and keep all of your friends? Did your social credit score tanked because you had a conversation with, subscribe to, or follow someone who suffers from wrongthink? Have you been called a literal Nazi because you think taking care of one's physical health is important? Have you tried apologizing for your transgressions only to find out you actually poured gasoline on the they-them flames? Have you ever had a politically incorrect thought or, heaven forbid, made an off-color joke? Well, we here at the Office of the Cancelled are here for you. As a member of the club, we offer exclusive trading cards, flak jackets, lapel pins, access to bomb shelters, as well as audio tracks from based artists that are sure to pump you up for a day at the range and get some of that much-needed two-way therapy. Remember, folks, you're only canceled if you let yourself be canceled, and every one of those collectivist NPCs can go fuck themselves.
Eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat.
I'll wait some time because the longer we wait, like the more realistic it'll be, you know, when he comes back to life. The touch of the black man in a woke story. The God hand shining down, shining upon thee. White man as you lay down. Cis white man and couple in background. Understand the power of a black man is a God hand.
Pro-black Twitter!
I breathe life into you. One touch is not enough from greatness. One touch from the black man. Watch me do it again. Kneel and be amazed at the touch of the black man. I bring life. I bring life.
Pro-black Twitter hoes!
That's right! That's right!
Robocock, don't clip that, no!
Bruh.
Oh God, that's getting clipped.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Oh shit. I was doing so good tonight too.
I'm tired of you! Drop it, retard. Robocock.
Shout out to everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hypnocast. That's right, we are live, boys. We are live. We're going to dive down the rabbit hole. that is known as the internet. Before we do that, man, bring it in. Let's go. Hug it out. Come on, get in here. Hurry up. Hurry up. Get in here. Get in here. Yes, even you guys in the chat with girthy bananas. Get in here right now. Come on, hurry up. Stop making noises. Get in here. Get in here right now and let's hug it out and listen very closely. If you're watching on YouTube, like the stream. That's right, like it. Like it. If you're watching on Rumble, which very well may be the last time, like the stream. If you're watching on Twitter, like the post. And if you're watching anywhere else, you are basically as gay as Twitch. Like the stream. Figure it out. Can I get a mic check, please? Mic check, titty check, balls check. What are we checking, man? What are we checking? Guys, listen. There's a lot of stuff we got to talk about today, okay? We are going like back in time. We're going to be revisiting a topic around Resident Evil 5. I never thought we were going to be talking about that game in a while, but apparently we're talking about that today. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're also talking about Marathon. Remember how I told you guys they were paying people $500 to basically NDA test Marathon for 30 days, and they're not allowed to say anything? Well, apparently the NDA doesn't mean a fucking thing because people leaked everything. So we got to talk about it. Well, almost everything anyway. We got to talk about, what else are we talking about? What else are we talking about? Big chillin' check. Very nice. Back grabber check. Come on, man. We live in bizarro world check. We sure do. Hanny says pussy check. Nice. Nice. What else are we checking? Oh, wow check. Beers check. Make Boulder punching great again check. Very nice. Don't stop streaming check. Fart box check. Nintendo is targeting Hoyoverse next check. Are they really? Are they really? I didn't know about that. Capcom needs to grow a pair check. Capcom or cucks check. Interesting. Coat of arms check. Welfare burger check. Booty grabber check. America check. Rumble pay check. Big titty check. Fettuccine fuck check. Europe is fighting back check. Chicks dig scars check. Snake gonna get mad cheeks check. Ready to play the first Hollow Knight game check. Nice. That's me too. That's me too. All right, guys, listen, our ESG scores are at their maximum. We are fully funded like the stream. It's free. It's free to like the stream. It's very easy. All right, let's do the Bigger Army roll call. Let's see who is in the chat right now. Aside from former Kotaku urinalists, Black Samurais that unfortunately did exist at one point but no longer do, and people that take 28 streams to beat Hollow Knight, to beat Stellar Blade, and then magically start playing Hollow Knight Silksong and think that it's going to take less than that. It might not. It might not. We got Yamato 85. We got Hanny. We got Mughal. We got Matt Fun Cool. We got the Voice in the Water. What's up, Voice in the Water? We got Joel Gimenez. We got Lenny. We got Mr. Melancholy. Luck E with the empanadas. We got Handy again. We got Jeremiah Maxwell. We got Jedi Knight. What's up, Jedi Knight? We got Miss Molly. We got Joseph. What's up, Joseph? We got Soul Reaper 2078. We got Yamato 85. We got Pizza Cat Leet. We got Blue Octopussy reading tonight. So, Lurky, what are you reading? I guarantee you something gooner. The Voice in the Water. Pay It Forward 42 over on Rumble. We got Mr. Cougar 9. We got Sir Old Man Cad. We got EB. Beautiful Zexel. Mad Fun Cool. Romanizer 24. Captain Killer Guns. We got Monkey Man 04. Radio Chimp. XL Tomahawk. We got Bud. What's up, Bud? We got Lord Bowser II. Breezy Stratton. We got Ron DFK. Marius. Sir Spamalot. We got Commander Sonok. We got Oliver Adam. Reaper Knight. Limitless Andre. We got Cole Morrow. We got Codex Pop. What's up, Codex Pop? We got 17 Crash. We got Frenchie 07. Vicious. Alucard. GDR with the goddamn right. Christopher Lloyd. We got a Cell Gamer HD checking manga. Very good, very good. Paul Q. What's up, Paul Q? We got Anubis Hades. What's up, dude? How you doing? We got Nick Havoc. Pandanotic. Branford 671. Barry Dixon Butt says, I'm on time today. Hell yeah, let's go. All right, boys, we got 4 more people. Come on, 4 more people. Let's go. We got Cyrite Joke who says we all hype in here. That's how it's supposed to be. Like the stream. John D. Infernal Hell Knight. After beating the Demon of Obsession last night, I have officially defeated every boss in Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Let's fucking go, bro. Good job. Good job. Blue says, "Yup, I'm reading Smut." How did I know? Gee, how did I know? That's amazing. Sister Loco, Demon Mage, Octouz, what's up, man? Sir Spamalot. We got Democulus. We got EB, Raging Wolf. We got Catzilla. Shout out to Catzilla. We got Lars Vindel. And last but not least, we got Eternal Brandon, Sonya Lisette, Phoenix 545, Orc Dictator, Dark Obsidian, Tiger King. No, I did not. Jason Alator. Who else? Let's see. Let's scroll down. Who else is here? Wireframe. Terrell Hamilton. What's up, dude? Dylan B. Katie Landry. Volvin. Raven Rainfall. Who else is here? Omega Level Stoner. Let's see. Who else? Dreg. And we got Jeremy U Reviews. Format over on Rumble. And we got Joel Jimenez. All right, guys, listen, I called out as many people as I possibly could. Let's sacrifice your fellow Bigot Army member and let's see who is going to get the final call out money shot today. Who is it going to be? We got Old Man Cad. Booty hole protected by Mercanti's ugly face because nobody wants a nut on that. Go down ×3, obliterating all protections with Gen X grumpy grandpas and go to hell looks. Fuck your feelings. 1, 2, 3. Support indie games. No PayPal, no Sony, no Microsoft Studios, no Diddy, no Uno Reverse. Protect the Cataclysm Rift Tear. ×5. Open Rift Gate to send money shot into the person this lands on back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All attacks are Jedi Master reflected at Hypnotic with no way to defend. Yeah, that's impossible. I am the originator. I am OP as fuck, okay? I am the one above all in this universe, bitch. Ain't no way that's working. Going down. We got Lucky saying no Jaffe, no Alyssa, no coconuts. Uno Reverse, come aboard the Jamaican school bus. Bob Charlie Shuck and Jive uppercut to go down ×8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The fuck is this? What is me rude boy? Babylon don't see me coming. And bunning up I rude boy. Combo breaker by 6. The cosmic powers of Rasta protect. Oh my god, we got a Jamaican money shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Holy shit.
It would be the Jamaican money shot that works. Son of a bitch. Joel Jimenez. Joel Jimenez. I don't know what makes it worse. The fact that you didn't protect your booty hole or the fact that you took a Rasta money shot. I don't know which is worse, to be honest with you. I really don't. I really don't. Joel Jimenez, congratulations. You got the Rasta money shot today.
What the?
The stream. Like the stream. All right, boys, we got a lot we got to talk about today. We only got about 2 main topics for today. Maybe we could sneak in a third one if we're lucky, but we got a bunch of fast topics we got to go over. But the 2 main topics today, we're going to be talking about Resident Evil 5 essentially being confirmed to be not in development. It seems as if Capcom is very scared to even touch this video game. It seems like they rather work on a Code Veronica remake instead of working on a Resident Evil 5 remake. I don't think this game's ever going to be remade, not for a very, very, very long time. So we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about, actually, we might have 3 topics today. We're going to talk about Gearbox because good old Randy Pitchford has already begun coping and seething. He has already begun the PR train which is basically the same train that Avowed was on when they were about to release. They try to tell everybody, hey, expect jank. Expect the game to be a little janky. Expect the game to be a little broken. Don't expect this game to run perfectly on every system. You know, they start doing this whole nonsense, and then come to find out after reading about that the early reviews for Borderlands 4 is not good, and people are saying it runs like shit. So it kind of all makes sense as to why he is trying to get ahead of the curve and trying to tell people don't expect this game to run amazing on every system. So we're going to talk about that. We also got to talk about Game Pass. It seems like Game Pass has taken a lot of hits lately from multiple different developers that either work for Microsoft or used to work for Microsoft in some way, shape, or form, or release their game on Game Pass. They're taking hits left and right. And one in particular from Pete Hines, I want to go over, where he said Game Pass is worth jack shit, basically, which I found to be very interesting. So we're going to go over all of that, ladies and gentlemen. But before we do that, really quick, one announcement. Today might be the last day that I will be streaming on Rumble. Unfortunately, Rumble emailed me a few days ago and told me, after questioning them, that they were going to pay me by end of day Monday at the latest. They haven't done so yet. So they have literally a few hours left before I will never stream on Rumble again, because I don't want to stream on a platform that is stealing money from people. I don't appreciate that. Not even just from me. I mean, literally stealing money from you guys. I will not do that. So I would just completely cut off all streams to Rumble and uploads to Rumble. And it makes me sad because there are people that, you know, we have a dedicated viewership on Rumble. You know, I was saying this on Grivcast. We have a really strong dedicated viewership on Rumble. People love watching over there, and the platform is fucking us over, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So if they don't get their shit together, unfortunately, this will probably be the last stream on Rumble, because yeah, I'm not with that. I am not with that in the slightest. So just wanted to get that out there. If you're following me on Rumble, if you want to watch on YouTube, you're more than welcome to. But if you don't, because you hate YouTube, that's fine. I understand. I loved having you here while you were here, but as of right now, unfortunately, it's just not happening. Appreciate you guys. Now let's get into the number one segment on YouTube. The number one segment that used to be on Rumble, but Rumble for some reason is fucking up. The number one segment all around the galaxy. I would do retard of the day, but Rumble is the retard of the day, not the viewers, but the platform itself. So they are the retards of the day, unfortunately, Rumble, whatever they're doing over there. But now it's time for the number one segment, and this segment is called none other than the pre-stream legend.
Money, print money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, more money, heaps and heaps of money, print money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, super chat money.
As salty as the sea, calling us no code names, SJW screaming, but it's money they blame, burning with envy, they're falling flat, they can't handle the sound of a super chat.
All right. We got ourselves the pre-stream legends, ladies and gentlemen, as we are on our way to 446 tier 1s in a row and 135 tier 2s in a row if we get lucky. Now, here's the funny thing. I was messing around with AI, like I told you guys, and I made a couple of new clips, some of which are really, really scary. Really scary. I had tried to make a membership train video for when memberships start going crazy, and what it spit out was something very, very weird. So we're gonna get to that. Mr. Melancholy with a 2-banger says, grow a pair, Capcom. Yeah, good luck with that, man. Good luck with that. I don't think they're ever gonna grow a pair when it comes to RE5, but we'll talk about it. Dark Exile starting us off with the membership train with a 5 membership banger. You already know what that means when we get the first banger of the stream. Shout out to Dark Exile with the 5 membership banger. Now, what I what I started doing was I was playing around with AI, and I was like, hey, here's what I want you to do. Okay. I want you to make an extremely fat woman start screaming in a train station membership train, right? Initially, I wanted the train to hit her after she was done screaming membership train, but the policies wouldn't allow me to do that. So, I said, okay, well, can you just make it dry? Can you just make it ride past her then, as she's saying membership train? But initially, I said, can you make it a extremely fat black woman? And I got a content policies doesn't allow. So out of just experimentation, I was like, okay, well, let me switch the word from black to white and see if they will do it. Maybe it's the fat that is not allowed, right? Maybe I'm just making things up in my mind. Maybe it's not the black part of it, right? Nope.
Membership train! Holy shit!
Oh God, it is just. I mean, what do you say at that point? You know what I mean? Anyway, so clearly Google's VO3 does not allow you to make a fat black woman, but it will allow you to make a fat white woman. Interesting how that works, right? I didn't change anything else other than fat white woman. So there you go. Very racist of VO. Very racist. Thank you again, Dark Exile, for starting off the membership train with the 5 membership banger. And then we got Lurker Supreme himself with a $20.83 banger. And he says, I think Hypnotic should take us all to Puerto Rico. It is the least a C+ YouTuber could do for us. Damn.
My hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting. I'm still getting the headshots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot.
That's insane. Insane. Shout out to Lurker Supreme. Thank you so much. And then he followed it up. He followed it up with a 10 membership mega banger, I guess, as a form of an apology or something like that. Shout out to Lurker Supreme. I also have another clip that I think I'm going to utilize because I think it's funny. Where I wanted a woman screaming like crazy that the memberships are going crazy. And considering the memberships are going crazy right now.
Holy fuck, these memberships are going insane right now.
Shout out to Lurker Supreme. Thank you so much for the 10 memberships. I appreciate that, man. And then we got JP Direwolf with a 5. I got fired from my job at the bank today. A customer asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. Thank you so much, JP Direwolf. Then we got BioTwolf19 with a 5. He says, I had an appointment to see my psychic next week, but she just called to cancel. She said I won't be able to make it. Thank you so much, BioTwolf. Appreciate that. Dark Obsidian with the 1999.
My hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting. I'm still getting the headshots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot.
Shout out to Dark Obsidian for the 1999. He says, I think YouTube is laughing at RB right now. Potentially. I mean, listen, you know, I have been streaming on Rumble since 2022. Something like that. And I'm really upset at the fact that, you know, it's a lot of work to stream on Rumble. Rumble is not easy to stream on because Rumble, and every creator knows this, Rumble is extremely anti-creator in terms of like ease of use. It fucking sucks. Just to put it simply, it sucks. But I know people liked using it, and we were growing over there. We were growing slowly, but we were growing. So I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever, let's use it. But I'm not going to support you if you're going to be stealing money from people. Like, fuck out of here with that. I'm not doing that. Like, YouTube sucks, but YouTube has never done that. You know, they've never stolen money. They've always paid exactly when they're supposed to, like the fucking government. You know, so it's really annoying. Raven Rainfall became a member all on her own. Shout out to Raven Rainfall. Did you get your account back or something? I assume. Vinictus Prime with a 2, maybe Visa, MasterCard. Tell them not to pay you. I doubt that. Miss Molly with a 249 compensations. Thank you, Miss Molly. Appreciate that. Orc Dictator with a 1 membership. Shout out to Orc Dictator. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. And we got Raging Wolf with a 499. Play the trailer for Lesbian Space Princess. Yes, it's real, and their enemies are called straight white malians. I think I'm good at just hearing the title. I'm good. Thank you so much, Raging Wolf, for the 499. And then last but not least, on YouTube, we got Ron DFK with a 2. Try a hippo shouting membership train, maybe. I mean, I could. I'm gonna experiment. I mean, I got a lot of like, dude. I've been practicing. How do I say? I've been practicing some interesting Gooner clips, trying to put together some. But you have to edit it together because the videos are only 8 seconds long. So in order to make something that's like worthwhile, you have to edit it together. So I got to make a bunch of clips and then edit it into one particular video. But yeah, they're pretty cool, man. I've been experimenting with it and seeing what I can do with it. But overall, it's been pretty cool. All right. I think that's it. Yup, we are fully caught up. Shout out to you guys for the pre-stream support. Actually, I have a hilarious clip. Hold on. I have a hilarious clip. Let me download it really quick. It's not finished. It's not finished because it cuts off at 8 seconds. So let me show you. I was experimenting with clips and I ended up making one of Sonia because she always complains to me, right? Look at the one. Look at the one I made of Sonia. Check this out. It cuts off at the worst moment. Look at this.
Hi, and my name is Sonia, and I am a mod for the Bigot Army. You know, life's hard being a mod, considering this empanada eating mother.
It was gonna say this empanada eating motherfucker doesn't pay me, but it cut off at 8 seconds. It cut off at 8 seconds. Son of a bitch. Oh man! Eventually, I'm gonna get to do it, but as of right now, I gotta figure out how to work around it. So it's fine. It's fine. No, Sonia already knows about it. I showed it to her. We got Gamer Forever for an NOK 50. I gifted you a game on Steam. We all keep fighting. In Viking March to Battle protest. Let's show all off them that we will never back down, never give up. Shout out to Gamer Forever. Shout out to Gamer Forever. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. I'm gonna check Steam in a second. Mrs. Spanger's Coffee for 17 months of legendary status. At work, and someone blamed me for something, and I responded with, if there are 100 genders, why is everything still men's fault? It's a goddamn good question. That's a good question. I wonder if they gave you an answer for that. Probably not, to be honest with you. All right, let's check Steam. Let's see if we have anything over on Steam. I don't see anything on Steam, so if you gifted me a game, I probably called it out during Griffcast, most likely. I think I did, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, I called out your game during Griffcast. So shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I think it was Cabernet. You gifted me Cabernet, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Cabernet. It was Cabernet. Shout out to you, man. Thank you. Thank you for gifting me Cabernet. I appreciate that. All right, boys. We are fully fucking caught up. Let's get into the content, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, we are trying to get 2 446 tier 1s in a row and 135 tier 2s in a row. So let's see if we can do it, man. See if we get lucky. Let's watch some funny clips to start off our day. Let's start off with watching the #1 robbery that has taken place on the internet. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let it play.
What's up? What's up? Oh, nigga, what the fuck? No!
You should have learned today. Fucking morons. Goddamn. I can't with these people, man. I really can't. That was retarded. That was abs. Like, what you think was gonna happen, bro? Sincerely, GDR. God, everybody's super chatting right after I started. GDR with a 5. What did Freeman say to Hypno when he decided to put her back in the waifu battle while GDR was at work? You bastard. Yeah, you know what Hypno said when Freeman said that? I said, well, where's GDR? Where in the world is GDR? Jedi Knight with a 2. Operation Raise the Flag. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much for the 2. Benedictus Prime with a 2. Can't regular chat in Rumble. Something's really broke. Oh, wow. Really? Why am I not surprised, man? It's all broken over there. All right. Next fast topic. I wanted to start off with something funny. We got something else that's funny, too. Hold on. The memes with the Karen just keep getting better and better. Hold on. Wait a second. Here we go.
Is now my daughter. I was not about to let another.
Philly Karen, tell us what was going on with that home run ball.
Our family already lost 2 balls. My son is now my daughter. I was not about to let another one go.
Philly Karen, tell us what was going on with that home run ball.
Our family already lost.
This was made with VO. I need to make one of the Philly Karen, but do something hilarious with it though. That was great. All right, let's do some serious topics. And by serious topics, just a reminder for all you bigots out there, you know, Hollow Knight Silksong is transcoded. If you don't believe that, if you don't understand that, well, I mean, that's just, you know, that's your problem. You're bigoted. I mean, I really don't know what to tell you other than that. You're bigoted. Tifa Lockhart with $4.99. Like to stream to get coupons to get 40 cups of Hypno's instant coffee at your local Hypno Barrel. Spanglish and Sonia loves his coffee, and so will y'all. It's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I feel like your tits get bigger every single time I look at it. I don't understand. These worms are transcoded. This is amazing. I gotta like this. These worms are transcoded. You know, normally you would look at this meme and be like, this is funny. But the simple truth is that you can't even do that because you know that these people out there would actually call these worms transcoded because they're genderless. I'm just saying, man, it gets ridiculous. All right. Now let's legitimately get into the fast topics. We had our fun. We had our jokes, ladies and gentlemen. Oblivion Remastered apparently is getting nuked a little bit on reviews. Now, I played Oblivion Remastered. I didn't get to play for much because, to be real with you, I didn't want to invest a massive amount of time in a game that I played so many years ago when there were so many new games to play and review. So I played it off stream for a little bit. I enjoyed it for what it was. It didn't run super smooth because, I mean, it's, you know, let's be real, the engine that gets utilized by it. But, you know, ultimately, it was good for what it was. It definitely was, especially worth the money, you know, for $50. But apparently, it's getting hit with bad reviews and it's descended into mixed review status on Steam because fans are apparently, you know, I guess frustrated over persistent bugs and seemingly everything was made worse by a recent update. Now, a lot of people have been saying this, right? That Sky Oblivion would be better. I understand that. I totally get it. But at the end of the day, man, you know, I very rarely do I see a video game that's been out for a little while now start off so good, and then all of a sudden the reviews just start slowly but surely tanking. You know? If we scroll down here, it says, I stopped counting the crashes, reads one review, taking aim at crashes encountered whenever trying to sleep or skip the time in the game. I really want to recommend this game, starts another, but I can't due to technical issues and performance. The same review cites the few and far in between patches that the game has received, and the recent 1.2 update certainly hasn't helped either. Started playing at launch with mods, writes another reviewer, and the game was perfectly fine to me. Came back this week and can't for the life of me find out how to fix the GPU crash dump triggered. Now, this particular video game, if I'm not mistaken, they said that if you have mods in this game, anytime they patch the game, you're probably going to have to uninstall the mods before you relaunch the game, because apparently it's not very mod friendly. Let's just leave it like that. It's not very mod friendly. At least not like the original one was anyway. Okay, bro says, I was thinking it was my rig, but it does crash every once in a while. Everybody with Unreal Engine 5 stutters, go and update all Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, etc. drivers. Yeah, I mean, listen, Unreal Engine 5, anytime I hear a video game is on Unreal Engine 5, I'm immediately going to think it's going to run like shit on day one. It's sad, but it's true. We are about to talk about that later today with Borderlands 4. Like, Borderlands 4 has been confirmed to be running like shit. There are private, there are YouTubers that had review copies that have been uploading videos lately, and a lot of them are talking about how bad the performance is, like really bad. So we're gonna talk about that. But anything Unreal Engine, immediately I think it's gonna run like shit. So I have no faith in it whatsoever, unfortunately. Why do AAA game studios have an aversion to mods? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, you could probably think there's probably a multitude of reasons. Ultimately, I think that a lot of people, ironically, a lot of them don't like the Gunner mods. They can't stand it. Even Square Enix came out and said, please try not to use Gunner mods with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Guess what happened? Gunner mods were day one, baby. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They need to come out with something to replace Unreal Engine 5. Well, so here's the thing, GDR, right? So there are engines that are actually better than Unreal Engine 5. The problem is that they are either exclusive to the people who made it, right? Like id Software uses their own engine. I don't think they license their engine. They only use it for their own games. Same thing with the Fox engine. I don't think they utilize it, outside of their own games. But Unreal Engine 5 is a multi-hoard out engine that everybody gets to use. I think another engine that gets utilized by people is the Crytek engine. If I'm not mistaken, they do license out the Crytek engine, but it's older, and it's also probably more expensive. They probably don't have as good of deals as Epic Games. These guys, they whore out Unreal Engine. They literally whore it out. So they give it out to everybody. They give developers the best deals possible because they want people utilizing Unreal Engine 5. That's their mindset, I guess you could say. Are there any fall releases you do have faith in? There's plenty of games I have faith in. Some of them were a little bit of a letdown, but there's been a lot of good games that we've been praising this year. In terms of fall, I can't really say necessarily fall. I can only speak to what I know is coming out right now. So, I mean, Metal Gear Solid Delta has been okay for the most part. Although, again, Unreal Engine 5, there are moments where it runs like shit, so that's a little disappointing. But they kept all the, the Gunner scenes in there. They kept all that shit in there. So not bad. Lost Soul Aside, I was looking forward to. I'm going to review that next, but people are saying it's not that great. So I'm going to see for myself, but I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to Digimon. I found out earlier today they have Type A, Type B, but then apparently in the game dialogue, they reference you as male and female. So sounds like a fucking lazy decision by the Japanese who still think the West wants A and B. But I'm looking forward to that. And then we have what else? Chronos. I was looking forward to Chronos, to seeing what that's about. We're gonna check that game out. I was definitely looking forward to Shinobi. We played that. We beat that game. That was an awesome game. Fucking love Shinobi. Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Highly recommend. And then obviously you got Silent Hill F that is coming out towards the end of September. You have Hell Is Us that came out recently that I was looking forward to as well. Got to check that out. So I mean, there's so many games. There's so many games. Ninja Gaiden 4 is another one too. There's so many games that are coming out. CryEngine 5 was used in KCD 2. Yeah, I know. You could tell because if you look at the open world, the CryEngine system has such a distinct open world design to it that you should be able to immediately notice it the moment you see it in the game. So, all right, let's see. Let's check out what else we got. So anyway, this game unfortunately seems to be getting bad reviews due to terrible updates, and hopefully they get on it and they fix it, because I am going to return to this at some point when I have some free time. It's just the problem is there's so many games out right now to review. I don't really have a lot of free time right now. So, but eventually we'll do that. GDR says, are you going to be playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2? Probably not. Honestly, probably. I'm not going to lie to you. Probably not. But if people want me to review it, I will. It's not exactly one of those games that's on my like top radar. You know what I'm saying? But if there's free time and people want me to do it, then sure. But probably not. Don't forget Little Nightmares 3. Oh, Little Nightmares 3. That's true. That's true. Again, there's so many games that we're looking forward to that are coming out in the next few weeks or to a couple of months. So it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. This particular post here I want to talk about has to do with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 and Kingdom Hearts 4. Okay, now these are two franchises. These are two franchises that I was mega fans of. Okay. Obviously Final Fantasy VII, the remake, I have been critical of. I have praised its combat. I have praised its modern graphics for sure. I've praised all that shit. But I've been heavily critical of story elements. I've been critical of the release schedule. I've been critical of all that other nonsense basically tied to the game. At this point, they are reassuring people that development of Final Fantasy VII Remake 3 and Kingdom Hearts 4 are on schedule. And I think the reason why they're saying this is because they have been getting criticized for basically being radio silent. They really haven't said much about Remake 3 or Kingdom Hearts 4, especially Kingdom Hearts 4. They've been very silent ever since they announced it. They haven't really said much of anything, aside from like a trailer or two that they released, and that's basically it. And they're like really short trailers. In terms of Kingdom Hearts 4, you know, after the way Kingdom Hearts 3 ended, I really don't know if I'm looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 4. I gotta be honest with you. I'm really like, in terms of Final Fantasy VII Remake 3, I feel like Remake 3 is going to sell just from FOMO, right? I feel like people are gonna be like, well, I gotta see how this ends. I've only waited 9 fucking years for this, you know, because Final Fantasy VII Remake has been going for years now. For years. It's insane. This is the worst release schedule I have ever seen for a video game. This is such a clear example of just corporate greed trying to fucking remake this thing into 3 different games. It's crazy. But I think FOMO is going to sell a lot of it. However, the simple truth is that Rebirth didn't sell nowhere near as the first remake. And that is because the first remake sold off of the idea that it was going to be a remake, right? Like a remake in the sense of a modern graphics, modern combat, but the story is going to be the same. Well, we didn't get that. We ended up getting modern graphics, modern combat, modern story. Completely changed for the most part. And people are going to be like, well, it didn't change because, you know, the what do you call them? The fucking, what do you call those things? The, goddamn, why did I burned it out of my memory. The whispers. There you go. The whispers. The whispers are like keeping the story the same and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's great and all, but once you defy fate in the first game and the parallel reality has become a thing with Zack, yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. You basically gave me Kingdom Hearts, but with Final Fantasy. But again, whatever, it's fine. I understand that Final Fantasy Remake has its own fans. That's perfectly fine. You know, the OG fans of Final Fantasy VII are the ones that are usually the ones complaining. And then the remake fans are the ones who are like, this is the best thing ever. I get it. It's perfectly fine. But, you know, we're never going to see eye to eye when it comes to that. That's always been my criticism about this game. But in any case, I wanted to bring it up because people were criticizing them because they've been very quiet about this game. But now they have said that everything is on schedule, that both games are going to come out when they're supposed to be coming out, and there's no delays as of right now. So we shall see. Tetsuya Nomura says that reassures everybody that all things are going smoothly. I don't know about that. We shall see. PlayStation 6 news. PlayStation 6 news. Can they fire Nomura? They're not firing Nomura, bro. They would have fired him a long time ago. They're not firing him anytime soon. PlayStation 6 news. Apparently, there is an exclusive story over at Insider Gaming that PlayStation 6 is planned to have a detachable disk drive on launch. Now, I cannot believe that we are talking about PlayStation 6, right? And I understand that based off of the time span, that in theory we should start getting leaks for the next generation consoles. But the simple fucking truth is that I don't care. Like, I don't care, bro. PS5 barely has a fleshed out library. Not even. This is one of the worst generations in terms of a library that anybody has ever seen. And yet now you're talking about PlayStation 6? Are we talking about seriously PlayStation 6 at this point? Come on, bro. Can we stop this shit? Anyway, so PlayStation 6 is planned to have a detachable disk drive on launch. Let's see what it says here. Identical to the PlayStation 5 and its detachable disk drive, customers will be able to buy the console individually as a digital console bundled with the PlayStation 6 as a traditional console, or upgrade later by purchasing the detachable disk drive separately. So basically, they're going to be doing something similar to what the PlayStation 5 did. And the reason why this is news is because people were under the assumption that everything was going to go purely digital with the next generation consoles. And if this is to be true, then it seems like that's not the case. And maybe you could say, well, the reason why it's not the case is because they want to sell you a $150 disk drive and make more money on you. That's probably true. That's probably true. But at this point, everybody assumed that everything was going to go super digital only. So to see news about a disk drive, I find to be very interesting. I don't know if Xbox is going to follow suit. I think Xbox's next generation console is probably going to be digital only, considering how much they push Gamepass. They push Gamepass so hard. I got to imagine they're probably going to go down that route. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. According to one source, unless things are changed at the last minute, PlayStation is firm on the decision because the disk drive for the PS5 hit all the company's internal targets. Again, it was reiterated by the source that the decision was made to reduce manufacturing and shipping costs during uncertain times, likely referring to the tariff trade war. Yeah, we'll see about that. Now, the better question is, how much do you think this is going to cost? That's what I really want to ask. I'm going to bet money that the PlayStation 6 with a disk drive is going to be just south of $1,000. I would guarantee that. The standard model, and then the PlayStation 6 Pro is going to be like $1,200, something like that. It's going to be something fucking retarded. But we are going to start seeing the rise of $1,000 consoles. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. It's going to be great. All right, now we got this story. I can't cover this completely because from what I understand, Bungie is striking everybody and their mother. But I can show the title, which is fine. I just can't show any pictures or anything like that. So apparently Marathon has leaked again, okay? And a bunch of details have been revealed, regardless of whether or not there was an NDA. There is a playtest happening right now that people are playing the game for 30 days. And if they complete the playtest after 30 days, they're going to get a $500 gift card. This playtest was under NDA. They didn't want anybody knowing anything about it. Well, that didn't stop people anyway. Apparently, okay, again, I can't show you anything, but apparently, according to the people that are in the playtest, the characters, the classes have changed dramatically. Not only that, the visual style of the game has been overhauled dramatically as well. That's the word on the street from the people who are playing the playtest right now under NDA. And again, I can't show you anything because I don't want to get it, taken down or whatever. But you can go out there and look yourself. You can Google it. You can check. You can search. You can search Marathon leaks right now. You could go to this article if you want. I don't know if they have the picture for this, but I'm sure others do. But it seems like the entire conversation about a complete visual overhaul seems to be true when it comes to Marathon. So all this time delaying the game was meant to go back to the drawing board, especially after Bungie has been officially absorbed into PlayStation Studios completely. They're no longer running independent, and PlayStation has put in new leadership. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a complete overhaul. So we'll see what ends up happening with Marathon. But as of right now, I expect to see more leaks from this particular NDA playtest that we don't have too much information of right now. Okay, last but not least for the fast topics, and then we're going to get to the main topics, boys. Nexus mods. Let's talk about Nexus mods. So I was going to make this into a main topic, but there really isn't that much here. So I just kind of want to get through it. Smash JT ended up making a post here. He says, per Ayaka Mods, thanks to Pirate Nation, Nexus Mods is deleting mods and banning users under new UK laws. Their official reason, uploading content deemed illegal by English law, indecent depiction of minors. Okay. The UK is exporting its censorship to global platforms. How the fuck is this drawing even a minor, by the way? This is the slippery slope in action. Now, one thing I want to make very, very, very clear is that Nexus Mods is UK based. So we should have seen this coming a mile away. Nexus Mods is based in the UK. They are going to bend over ASAP to the UK government, and they're not even going to think twice about it. They already told you that was the case. They told you before the UK Online Safety Act became a thing that they were going to enact censorship. They told you this. They always were. And to be fair, Nexus Mods was always doing this anyway. Now Nexus Mods has a legal excuse to do the same shit they were doing for years. They always do this. Anyway, so one of the mods being banned is apparently from Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. It seems to be a Gooner mod. They're trying to say that this character is a child. And if you look here, the Vocal Man got banned on August. This was posted on August 4th. Okay. Been banned from Nexus Mods for violating our community rules. The reason, uploading content deemed illegal by English law, indecent depictions of minors. Again, I don't understand how this character is a minor. Like it's anyway, just fucking like this whole bullshit. I swear to God, it's so annoying. Anyway, it's one of those things where anime will always be unfairly targeted. Every chance they get, it will be unfairly targeted, right? I don't know about you. I don't know of any minors that look like this. Okay. Last I checked, there weren't any. What is this? A fucking mermaid? Like I don't remember any mermaid minors. It's like you guys want to take words and muddy up the meanings to it. It really is annoying. You can't have any fiction whatsoever in Europe. I haven't logged into Nexus Mods in many years. I probably wouldn't remember my password for this site. Sounds like something Collective Shot would probably pull. Probably. It's a fucking drawing. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And keep in mind, guys, doesn't Nexus Mods host like certain mods on their website for like Oblivion and Skyrim that are you can argue children based? Don't they have mods like that? I don't know. My question is, who looked at this and decided that it was a minor? Who looked at this picture at Nexus Mods and said this is a minor? Like, who did that? Who did that? Like, what reference? What scale reference are they using? Did they use age verification software for a drawing? Like, how did they come across this? How did they come across this decision? I wonder. You can see everything getting removed. It says removed by staff. The mod you were looking for was removed by a member of staff. Scroll down. James Obb says they don't have a choice. They're in the United Kingdom. They have to do what they're told, like good little submissive dogs. Smash says, who decides what's a minor in a drawing? Kilted says they're based in the UK. They don't have a choice. Who decided a fictional drawing was a minor? He's going to keep asking the question because, nobody's going to really have an answer. Old Man Cat says they're also closing down discussion threads about the issue. I'm sure they are. They do that all the time, too. Anytime they get banned, anytime they ban things over at Nexus Mods, they always close down the discussion. They always close down whatever forum thread is talking about it. They close it all down. They do it all the time. That's why every time I see somebody say Nexus Mods banned XYZ, my response is not going to be, oh, wow, look how shit Nexus Mods is. My response is going to be, oh, look, Nexus Mods is doing what we already know they've been doing for years. Why are you still using them? Why are you still using it? That's going to be my question. Why are you still using these fucking people? You know what I mean? So shout out to Ayaka Mods and also DEG Mods. Ayaka Mods and DEG Mods have hosted the mod on their site uncensored. You can see here, thanks for reporting this, Smash JT. We actually managed to contact the modder. They got banned for this, and he has already uploaded the remove mods from Nexus onto our site. This way, they are safe, and we won't censor them. Here they are, and you can see the link here. And then you also got Alucard saying minor or not, it's a fictional character. You got DEG mods in here somewhere. I know I saw them. I gotta find it. They're here somewhere. I guess I can't find it. I thought they commented. I was almost sure they commented. But regardless, DEG mods and Ayaka mods are uploading the mods themselves. So just wanted to spread that information to you guys so that you are aware. And shout out to Pirate Nation for being one of the first ones to talk about it too. So, all right, let's get into the main topics now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if there's any super chats we got to catch up on. And then we're going to keep going. We got, where are we at? GDR with a 5. Is it against the rules to time out my competition in the waifu battle? Looking at you, BioT Wolf and Blackguard. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Oh, my God, bro. GDR is out here like, I want to ban all my competition. That's insane. Holy shit. Wow. TJAP says we are 108.72 away from tier 1. Thank you, TJAP. I appreciate that, man. Hey, mods, you got to watch your fellow mod, man. GDR out here getting power hungry to win the waifu battle. That's crazy. Shizuka Marikawa with a 189. Philly Karen is the only balls she'll ever have. True. True. Super Saiyan Get the fuck out of here. What is this? Super Saiyan Melanie Marks for a 2. Put me in the waifu battle and link by OnlyFans. What the fuck?
Holy shit.
That is crazy, bro. Oh my God. Denarier with a $10 banger says it's not 100% Unreal Engine 5's fault. Devs just don't optimize. DICE even admitted they targeted 60 FPS on top CPUs and GPUs, yet 60% of players don't own a 5090 and 12 core plus CPUs with 32 gigs, 6400 CL18 plus RAM. LOL. Well, listen, it's definitely a combination. I'm not going to just put all the blame on Unreal Engine 5. You know, I've talked about many times how developers these days don't optimize their games. This is why we have video games with like 150 fucking gig files. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? What game's getting in trouble right now for that? Helldivers. Helldivers on PC is like 140 something gig fucking file, bro. 140 something gigs. They're getting in so much backlash because people are like, bro, what the fuck is this game 140 gigs for? And they're like, don't worry, we're working on reducing the file size. Like, bro, what? There's no reason for that. Zero reason for that. We got Toxin with a 2. Mount Lady loss. A simple truth. There you go. We got BioT of 19 with a 2. The salt from GDR is good on my steak. Are we seriously shit talking before the waifu battle even happens? Now it's getting crazy. It's insane. All right, boys. Let's get into the first main topic of the evening. And we are going to talk about Borderlands 4. Yes, we are. That's what we're going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Borderlands 4 is potentially cooked. Potentially. Is it still going to sell? Probably. I would damn near say, yep, guaranteed. However, it doesn't mean the game's not cooked. Bring back Mount Lady? Do we have to? Yes, we do have to. I thoroughly enjoyed the waifu battle yesterday. It was amazing, truthfully. Call of Duty's 336 gigs. I deleted Modern Warfare 2 and Cold War off my PS5 and opened up 552 gigs of room. Yeah, that's fucking insane, bro. That's insane. Sincerely. That is legitimately insane. a video game being 350 gigs, bro, you better have the map of Skyrim like 5 times over. So, all right, let me take a drink really quick, and then we're going to get into it. All right, let's go. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna talk about a couple of things. We're gonna talk about Pirate Nation. Obviously, I want to give him the credit because he's the one that I found it from. And then I went up a little bit deeper, found some articles about it. Found out that Randy Pitchford is in fact coping and seething, and try to tell people and warn them that players should have realistic expectations about performance. Older hardware may not provide buttery smooth performance. Well, apparently, neither is the recent hardware either. So goes to show how that really doesn't matter. And then we're going to watch a video from a YouTuber that gets linked by Pirate Nation right here. Go over his video. I specifically went to the part of his video where he talks about performance, and I want you to hear from his own mouth what is going on with the game, since he has pre-checked out the game days in advance. This video is like 4 days old. So we're going to talk about it. How about making a proper finished product, Randy? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we are going to be talking about Borderlands 4. Now, there are a lot of drama. There is a lot of nonsense that has happened regarding Borderlands 4, and almost all of it has come from Randy Pitchford, obviously the CEO of Gearbox. But the simple truth is that Borderlands 4, regardless of whether or not it comes out completely unoptimized, which I've always been saying it probably is going to, or the fact that it comes out to be completely broken, which there's a good chance that's probably going to happen too. At the end of the day, I do think it's going to sell no matter what, but that doesn't mean we can't make fun of their absolute lack of professionalism by trying to cope and seethe. Now, what do I mean? So I saw this post by Pirate Nation, and it says Borderlands 4 performance optimization is poor. At 549, with RTX 4080 and frame generation on, it achieves 60 to 70 FPS. Without frame generation, it drops to 30 FPS. The game also stutters and freezes per a YouTuber with early access. Now, this YouTuber, we are going to watch his video in 1 minute, so stick around for that. But I want to switch over really quick to an article from PC Gamer, because after I saw that post from Pirate Nation, I wanted to dive a little bit more into it and find out where exactly this is coming from and if they said anything about it. Well, apparently they have. Gearbox boss himself, Randy Pitchford, has said that even though there is a day one patch, there's a day one patch for this game, so that's how you know it's going to be broken as shit. Even with the day one patch, that people and players should have realistic expectations about the performance of the game, and that older hardware may not provide buttery smooth performance right out the gate. Now, guys, listen, I understand that there are people out there that try to make their older rigs go as far as humanly possible. I totally get that. But lately, the performance issues, especially for Unreal Engine 5 video games, have been from high tier systems. You've had 5090s, 4090s that are struggling with some games, and they're having issues with lag. Like Metal Gear Solid Delta was a prime example of one of them. Even with my 4090 and 128 gigs of RAM, there are moments in Delta on my stream, you can see clear as day, where I was having lag, and I couldn't believe my eyes. So Unreal Engine, unfortunately, is a system that, well, it's not exactly very well optimized, and the developers that utilize it, they don't know how to optimize their games very well either. They're either too lazy, or they probably don't have experience with the system. Whatever the excuse may be, it's still partially their fault. So it says that even though Borderlands is a few days away, here's the full rundown of the global release time. And Randy Pitchford has confirmed, in what should come as absolutely no surprise to anyone, that there will be a day one patch with the game. He says it does a lot, the Gearbox boss promised, but it's not going to work miracles. And he said players with low-end PCs should have realistic expectations for how the game would run on their rigs. The expectation for using a below minimum spec machine should be that the game is unplayable, Pitchford said on X in response to a player of a preview build who was struggling with performance. It's a big, bold, new, seamless world, and I'm sorry to say that older hardware may not provide buttery smooth performance for the latest gen AAA games, and has always been the case since the dawn of PC gaming. Well, that's a little bit of a gaslight, but anyway, we're going to let him rock. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to check out the video from the YouTuber that Pirate Nation ended up posting, and we're going to see exactly from him what is going on with the game, because he has a full breakdown. There's a little subsection of his video dedicated to performance. Let's watch this video and see exactly what's going on. 1 second. All right, here we go.
Now let's take a turn and talk about performance because it is a bit ropey at the moment. On our RTX 4080 rigs and i7 CPUs, frame rates were solid enough, around 60 to 70 in cluttered combat moments and boss fights with frame gen on. Without it, it dips down to 30 to 40. But honestly, it's completely playable, and since with frame gen you have over 60 pretty much all of the time, it feels great. The bigger issue though is stuttering.
Now keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, a 4080 is not a low tier graphics card. All right. A 4080 is a pretty damn good graphics card, right? So it should be able to handle this game much better than 30 FPS with frame gen off. And the fact that it needs frame gen to hit 60 FPS on a 4080, and I don't even know what settings he was playing on. He doesn't seem to mention, maybe he mentions it later on in the video, but he doesn't seem to mention what settings he was playing on. All he says is he had frame gen on and off. So I'm a little bit suspicious. And keep in mind, guys, this is a video game that is cell shaded. It's not exactly the most hardcore graphical video game out there. And yet during some, major combat scenarios, you're rocking around 60 FPS with frame gen on in a 4080. What's everybody else going to do that doesn't have a 4080? You might as well just say they're screwed at this point.
Moving through areas quickly often causes hitches and brief freezes, which really breaks up the flow of things. Supposedly, this is going to be fixed in a day one patch, and to be fair, the stability itself is excellent. Neither of us have had a...
So the game stutters massively, but supposedly it's going to be fixed in a day one patch. Okay. I guess we'll have to see that.
Single crash so far, but still the stuttering is something that really needs addressing. Another co-op issue we ran into is that if you're not the party...
Oh, so according to the comments of this video, apparently he is playing this game on medium settings. On mediums, you gotta be kidding me, bro. On medium settings, he's playing this game. Medium settings, frame gen on, 4080 graphics card, and he's at 60 FPS. I don't know, bro. I think that is a highly unoptimized video game at this point, in my opinion. Highly, highly unoptimized. If that's the numbers that you're getting with medium settings and frame gen on, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what resolution he's playing at. It's probably 1080p. I highly doubt he's playing at 4K. So that's gonna be interesting.
Sometimes your bullets just don't connect to enemies. In the middle of a fight, that can be incredibly frustrating. So hopefully it's something that Gearbox is aware of and working on. On the other side of things, I play on mouse and keyboard while 26 plays on controller. And I want to point out that the default sensitivity on the mouse was weirdly high. I had to lower it by a whole 20% across the board to make it feel normal, and that's unusual for me because I basically never adjust my sensitivity settings in any...
Am I the only one watching this video and looking at the graphics and telling myself that this shit has barely changed from the first Borderlands? How is it that this game is struggling this much to run on modern hardware when the graphics are barely better than the first couple of Borderlands from what I remember? Maybe not the first one, but goddamn, man, you can't tell me this is a massive upgrade from like Borderlands 2 or 3. I feel like I feel like I'm looking at literally game. If somebody told me this was gameplay for Borderlands 2 or 3, like a DLC, I would believe them. That's how similar the graphics look. So why are we struggling exactly? I don't get it.
Game, and my mouse is always set to my specific DPI. It's not a deal breaker, but it's just worth flagging if mouse and keyboard players feel it's a bit off. Now, overall, Borderlands 4 is shaping up to be the most fun I've had with the series since Borderlands 2. The expanded builds, the smoother combat, better loot variety, and...
Why am I not surprised that our early access reviewer is mentioning how much fun they had with this game and then compared it to Borderlands 2? The one game that they know everybody wants to hear as a Borderlands fan, almost as if it's all preordained.
The more alive world really captures that sense of discovery. The mission here was fun, the boss felt really engaging, and the co-op is super easy to jump into. But the technical issues are a real hindrance right now, and whether that gets fixed will really make or break it for a lot of people's experience. Still, from what I've played so far, the core gameplay is really strong and engaging. We'll need way more hours in the endgame to know how it holds up, but my impressions in the context of this mission is that it's very promising. So that's it for our preview of Borderlands 4. We'll have more coverage and a full review.
It's crazy. I'm literally watching little lag spikes as he's recording gameplay. During that explosion, right there was a little bit of a lag spike from the explosion.
So that's it for our preview of Borderlands 4.
After,
we'll have
right there, like insane, bro. I saw the frame dips. This is crazy stuff. At this point, I think it's safe to say that Borderlands 4 might be a little cooked on the performance aspect of things. It's pretty obvious that it's suffering from every other same issue that modern day developers have, which is providing a product that unfortunately doesn't run well at launch, and it's never going to for a couple of months. They're going to fix, and eventually it'll get to something stable. But it's just another situation in AAA gaming. So at this point, now I can understand and see why Randy Pitchford was coping and seething and trying to get ahead of what people were going to say about the game. This is why he is telling people in interviews to have realistic expectations when it comes to performance, because he knows that this game is going to cook a lot of people's rigs. And why is that? I have no idea, considering it looks exactly like Borderlands 3 graphically. So you guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this entire situation regarding Borderlands 4? Are you going to be playing Borderlands 4? Are you going to pick up the game? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bro. Medium settings, bro. Medium settings, bro. Wow. Okay. And I think somebody in the chat said medium settings at 2K resolution. Did I see that right? Jesus Christ, man. Randy, our game is poorly optimized and will break your PC. Don't blame us for it. Blame yourselves. Oh, man. So fucking true. Levistro for $1 over on Rumble says, stop being mean to Daddy Corporal. Okay, going back to picking on Pickaxe and their false advertising about free speech. No AI and no algorithms. Then he says, Rumble is transcoded to, please come to Rumble. We are totally not losing mouths, and we promise Hypno will get paid once he shills for Daddy Rumble, that is. Okay, I'm done. And then Abhorrent Soul gifted 1 Hypnotic membership over on Rumble. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for the membership. I appreciate it. But unfortunately, we might not be streaming on Rumble anymore after today. Sadly, that's just what it is. I don't anything coming on Rumble? I think so. Let me see. We got Toxin with a 2. Mount Lady Lost, A Simple Truth. Oh, I already read this. I'm so stupid. Super Saiyan Melanie Marks for a 2. Raid my stream. I'll read verse of the Gender Bible. Oh my God. Hey, we got rated. Who rated us, bro? Who rated us? It never gives me the notification anymore. Who rated us? Who rated us on YouTube? Oh, Carolyn. Shout out to Carolyn. Rated by the white girl. Let's go. Let's go. Carolyn, thank you so much for the raid. I'm sorry, I was in a video segment. I apologize. Shout out to Carolyn. Thank you so much for returning the love. I appreciate that. Thank you for the raid. Legendary. Joker says, I wouldn't buy a 5090 for what? Shitty slop games that don't even run well on the card? Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I have looked at a 5090 like 5 times. And every time I look at a 5090 and I tell myself, you know, there's nothing bad with upgrading, right? It's kind of like the 2 voices thing where you got the devil and the angel on your shoulders. The devil's like, there's nothing wrong with upgrading. Get it. We know you don't need it, but you want it, right? And then the angel's like, hey, retard, there's not a single game that runs better on the 5090. If anything, they run worse. And the chance of it blowing up in your system is way higher than the card you have now. You don't need it. And I'm like, thank you, angel. Thank you for calling me a retard. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. Carolyn says, I'm doing well. Opened up lots of snacks tonight. They were sent over. Nice. You got sent over snacks? That's awesome. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. I'm jealous. Where are we at? And hold on. We got GDR with a 10. Do you guys think GDR is salty from the waifu battle? Do you think he's really going to ban Wolf and Blackguard? That would not be good. GDR with a 10. The devs don't care if the game is finished at launch. They drag out games for years to milk the hell out of the investors. They shouldn't get paid unless the game does well. Yeah, well, the funny thing is there are some games out there that their entire strategy, Their entire strategy is to try to go for the long haul as much as possible. Remedy is known for this, right? Remedy, when they released their Control games, when they released Alan Wake, they knew, especially with Alan Wake 2 being Epic Games exclusive, they knew that they weren't going to make money for a long time. They waited 2 years almost 2 years to break even, you know, and by break even, you got to put like quotations, break even, like sort of break even, you know? So there are some developers out there that play that long game, but some of them can't afford to do it. Clippy says, what do you mean you won't be streaming on Rumble anymore? If Rumble doesn't pay me by the end of today, like they said they would, and they've ghosted me in emails twice now, if they don't pay me by the end of the day, then I will consider the money stolen, because it's been almost 2 weeks now. I'll consider the money stolen and abandon the platform. Not that I want to, but that's just what they're forcing me to do. I'm not going to have people keep getting their money stolen over there. Carolyn says, I have a 3070 Ti in my system right now, but it's struggling when trying to game and stream at the same time. It needs upgrading. 3070 Ti. I mean, most games you should be okay, but I'm sure some of the more like hardcore games you're gonna have a problem with. Even if you put it on, let's say, medium settings or something like that, I'm sure you're gonna have a problem with it. I mean, listen, yeah, I can't talk shit because I build my PCs to last at least 10 years. Like, I don't want to be upgrading computers all the time, even though I would love to, and I could. I just don't want to. I want my stuff to last, so I overpower build my computers. So before I had a 4090 and all the shit that comes with that, before I have that, I had a NVIDIA Titan. You remember the Titan? The Titan is an old fucking card, but the Titan was an overpowered card for its time, like retardedly overpowered. And that shit lasted me so long until eventually I just couldn't do it anymore. You know what game broke me? The game that made me go and upgrade my computer immediately was Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart was a game that broke my fucking old system so hard that I was like, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Gotta go upgrade right now. Right now. So I get it. I built this PC 2 years ago for the top of the line of what I could afford. I'll have to invest. You know, I totally get it. I totally get it. Been there, done that. My buddy had a Titan. Nice. Yeah, I loved my NVIDIA Titan. That was such like a flex back in the day. If you said you had an NVIDIA Titan, everybody would look at you like, what the fuck? Oh man, that card was so stupid. That card, NVIDIA Titan, was I'll put it to you like this. The NVIDIA Titan was the single card solution for what otherwise was SLI dominated markets. Everybody was SLIing their graphics card, but if you didn't want to do that, you would get a Titan. That's what it would be. All right, we got shout out to GDR again. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. And I agree with you, but at the end of the day, they're going to get paid their salary, so they're going to make their money, which is why they do all this risky shit, because all they're really doing is risking the company's money. Most of these employees don't care. Maybe some of the executives that get bonuses, but aside from that, they don't care. Tarek with a 10. Heard talk about 5090s. Willing to accept donations of unwanted 5090s from my AI box. Also, hail Hypnotic and Bigot. Shout out to Tarek, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Then we got Black Tailgate with a 5. Hypno raids Kara. Kara raids Hypno. I feel passed around, but in a good way. You getting whored out, bitch. No, let me stop. Shout out to Black Tailgate. Thank you so much, man. I kind of miss SLI setups. I will use lossless scaling to SLI. Yeah, I mean, I kind of miss SLI setups because there is something really OP about looking at a computer and seeing multiple graphics card. It was such like a retarded nerd flex. It was unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. It wasn't even funny. But regardless, you know, it is what it is. Now everything is single card now. And every computer looks the same for the most part. My next computer that I get, I'm gonna go like ridiculous balls to the wall. I'm gonna get like a fucking AMD Threadripper or something like that. I'm gonna just do something really stupid, like something really financially stupid, just to say I fucking can. But it's not gonna be for a long time. Whatever the Threadripper is in the future, I guess we'll see. But I'm gonna do something like that. All right, let's get into. I think we're caught up. Yes, we are. Yes, we are caught up. Let's get into the next topic, and we are gonna nerd boner. AMD Threadripper is bad for gaming. Oh, if it's bad for gaming, then I won't get it. I'll get whatever the most like ridiculous graphic processor is for gaming on the AMD side. I'm definitely going AMD. If they continue to go down the path that they're going, I'm 100% going AMD. Threadripper isn't good for gaming. Why is Threadripper not good for gaming? Does anybody know that? I would love to know more. I just remember going into the store and seeing a Threadripper and reading the stats on it, and I was just like, holy nerd boner. Nerd boner. It was so good. Games don't use that many thread. Well, you know what? Maybe they should, my guy. Maybe they should. Maybe games got to get good and get on the Threadripper's level. Intel's horrible right now. Definitely will be swapping to AMD for my next PC. Same. You know, I watched a video talking about the degradation of Intel cores, and I'm good. I'm definitely going to go to AMD in the future. 9800 X3D, it should be the best one out right now. Well, I'm not going to get it right now. Whatever in the future it's going to be. Okay, let's get to the next topic really quick. So we're going to be covering Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5 is one of those stories that never gets old whenever we talk about remakes and stuff, because Resident Evil 5 is a game that realistically should have been remade a little while ago, but they are dodging this game so bad, and it's so obvious. They would rather remake, Resident Evil Code Veronica, which they're going to. They would rather remake Resident Evil 1 again and be like, hey, we're going to give you the modern remake now. They don't want to do Resident Evil 5 because they know that Resident Evil 5, if they were to remake the game, you're going to have all kinds of nonsense coming after them, right? I mean, just look at IGN. The Resident Evil game that can't be remade. Remember that article? Remember this article from 2024? The Resident Evil game that can't be remade. It's time to rewrite, not remake. Oh, now it's time to rewrite. Now you want to change the story. Gee, I wonder why you want to change the story now. So, in any case, there's been a couple of leaks from the same person who was leaking Resident Evil 9 information. And apparently, he's just confirmed that there is no plans right now for a Resident Evil 5 remake, but there is plans for other remakes. So, it seems like continuing to go down the numerical Resident Evils is not in their plans. They would rather stop and go for the spin-offs for some odd reason. Makes you wonder why. So, we'll talk about it. Let me get a drink real quick and let's go. Yeah, don't get it twisted. I like Code Veronica. I like Code Veronica a lot. I think Code Veronica is pretty good. But it's like, come on, you're clearly remaking the numerical games. Let's get to 5. Come on, you're at 5 now. Well, let's go. And they're gonna be like, how about Code Veronica? Like, no, come on, let's go to 5. Come on, you guys can count. Let's go to 5. And they're like, you know what? How about we redo Resident Evil 1, but this time better? It's like, no. Let's get to 5. Come on. They don't want to get to 5, bro. Suddenly, Capcom doesn't want to count to 5. Code Veronica is the real Resident Evil 3. Yeah, I guess so. I suppose. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so in today's video, we are going to be talking about an old classic story, and that has to do with Resident Evil 5 Remake. Now, Resident Evil 5 Remake is a game that a lot of fans are asking for, but it's a game that Capcom doesn't ever want to talk about. Resident Evil 5 Remake is a game that they are probably going to be refusing to remake for as long as they possibly can. It's one of those stories that they try to push off for as long as they can, because let's be real, it's going to be considered problematic. Everybody knows why they don't want to remake Resident Evil 5. Suddenly, Capcom can't seem to count to 5, although they counted perfectly fine up to 4. But regardless, they just don't want to do it. Now, you're probably saying, is that really why? Could that really be the reason? I mean, let's be real. Look at all the press at the mere thought of Resident Evil 5. You guys remember all the articles that they had talking about Resident Evil 5 and how it should be remade? Back in 2024, this is pretty recent, IGN put out an article that said, the Resident Evil game that can't be remade. It's time to rewrite, not remake. All of a sudden, when you get to 5, now suddenly the story needs to be changed. You know, you're not just supposed to remake a game anymore. Remake was perfectly fine up to 4, but you can't do it for 5. Gee, I wonder why that is. I mean, all these gaming journalists are just dying to make this problematic for Capcom, and they know this, and they're trying to avoid it. Now, there has been a leaker that has been giving out information regarding Resident Evil 9, and he's also sharing information about other Resident Evil games, and apparently he has confirmed that Resident Evil 5 is not even on the cards right now. According to a new leak, the Resident Evil 5 remake we're all asking for isn't happening anytime soon. It's claimed there is more positive news about Code Veronica remake, but it is a Chris Redfield-sized punch to the gut where a Resident Evil 5 remake is concerned. Capcom has delivered some sterling remakes in the last few years. Resident Evil 2's fully fledged remake blew everyone out the water, and while the Resident Evil 3 remake didn't reach the heights of the second game, it was still enjoyable and appreciated by fans. There have been reports for months about the next Resident Evil remake, and a new leak from a reliable source provides fresh details. Resident Evil 5 remake reportedly not greenlit by Capcom. Now, guys, we can make the joke all we want. We're going to continue to make the joke. Here's the simple truth about this, right? Capcom is not going to remake Resident Evil 5 anytime soon until they figure out how they can avoid the problematic headlines that are going to come their way. All right. They don't want to be seen remaking a video game where you get to mow down a horde of zombies, black zombies. They don't want by a white guy on top of that. They don't care if there's somebody who's a person of color next to them. They don't care about that. All they care about is the fact that there is a white guy that is able to mow down black zombies. That's going to be extremely problematic. The only way I could see them making it not problematic is by race swapping the zombies. But the thing is, if you race swap the zombies, that is openly telling everybody how much of a pussy you are and how you bent the knee and you decided to change the skin color of the zombies, even though they're in Africa. It's amazing how the mindset of these people work. They're the first ones to tell you, oh, you shouldn't make this character white if their heritage is Africa, because African means black according to these people. But then when you say, okay, well, keep that same energy, let's keep the zombies black in Resident Evil 5, they're going to look at you like, no, that's problematic. Let's race swap them. It just never makes any sense. But in any case, the go-to leaker where Resident Evil news is concerned is Dusk Golem. The ex-user's adamant that Resident Evil 5 remake has not been greenlit at this time. In short, if the report is accurate, then Capcom might be discussing the project, keyword might, but there's no go-ahead to start working on the Resident Evil 5 remake. This means a remake of the 5th game is still years away, and for now, we need to focus on Resident Evil Requiem and Resident Evil Survival Unit as the only confirmed games in development. Now, obviously, guys, you know, they're not going to come out with any remakes when they have a headline Resident Evil game that's coming out soon. They're going to wait for Resident Evil Requiem to release first, garner its sales, wait about a year or so, and then they'll start talking about remakes then. But chances are they're going to end up remaking Code Veronica before they remake Resident Evil 5, which is hilarious, by the way. But that's what they're going to do. Dusk Golem does say that the rumored Code Veronica remake is moving along nicely. Code Veronica remake has been in development since 2022. Around 3 years of development now. Code Veronica remake is ahead of schedule due to a very smooth dead cycle, though. It's good to hear about the reported Code Veronica remake. However, we can't help but feel a tinge of disappointment about Resident Evil 5, probably the most underrated game in the franchise. Is that a hot take? Let us know. Now, again, I want to remind everybody the mindset of people that, you know, that work in gaming journalism, if you even want to call that a title, gaming journalism, these people are just waiting. They're waiting with bated breath. They're literally looking at Capcom and they're saying, please pull the trigger, right? They're saying, please release Resident Evil 5. You have to release it in the way that we wanted to, because if you do, this would allow us to run massive amounts of racist headlines, and they all goon over this stuff. They can't wait to run those headlines. We all know it's true. They absolutely cannot wait to do it. And again, this is an article from 2024 talking about how the story and the series is problematic at this point in time. Then they try to pretend like, oh, it has to do with the action combat. No, it doesn't. You very clearly have an issue with the fact that the zombies are black. You have an issue with the fact that the game, I guess, is a little bit too overly diverse. Nobody wants to be seen mowing down black zombies, right? So to make a faithful Resident Evil 5 would just completely break these people. It would make it something that they can't help but complain about. And we've seen it happen with YouTubers as well. We've seen so many people claim to be Resident Evil fans, but then the moment a Resident Evil 5 remake comes into conversation, they're like, oh no, we can't do this because it's problematic. So at this point, guys, I think it's safe to say if you are waiting for a Resident Evil 5 remake, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think we are years out from, I mean, look at the screenshot. Do you think they're really going to allow this screenshot to happen in a modern video game where you could blow the head off of a black zombie? I really don't think that's going to happen, man. I genuinely don't. So you guys let me know in the comments down below. Again, what do you think about this entire situation? Look at this. Oh, wait, hold on. Before we end the video, this insensitive treatment of people of color was hotly debated even as early as Resident Evil 5's debut trailer, with writers such as the Guy Kroll or Stefan Totilo pointing out the game's uncomfortable post-colonial imagery. The arguments and think pieces continued well into the game's release window, with IGN's own former editor-in-chief Hillary Goldstein having also wrestled with the subject. But that was 2009, a time when race was apparently a debate rather than a reality. In the 2020s, in a post-Black Lives Matter world, there is only one acceptable response to a white man shooting waves of Africans for an entire video game. No. Guys, is this a joke? Like, is this sincerely a joke, man, at this point? Come on, man. What are we doing? Why are we still doing this? So you mean to tell me that every other Resident Evil game where you were able to shoot all kinds of zombies, right? You're able to shoot white, black, Asian, women, men, you're able to do all that perfectly fine, no problem. But the moment you go to Africa and you mow down a horde of black zombies, that apparently is not okay. That's racist. Would you be saying the same thing if you were able to go to Europe and mow down a horde of white zombies only? Would you be saying the same thing? Of course not, because you're a fucking moron. That's genuinely what it is. Look at what they say. Set in a fictional, keyword fictional, by the way, West African country, Resident Evil 5's primary antagonists are black people. Yes, technically, it's the Ouroboros virus that the protagonist Chris Redfield is fighting, but the parasite's host is depicted as a nation of mobs and primitives who are violent even before their infection. Intentionally or not, Resident Evil 5 positions Africa as the Dark Continent, an uncivilized world harboring a diseased population that needs gunning down via Western intervention in the name of global security. My God, bro. This is what they view as media literacy, right? When these people tell you, oh, you just don't understand the story. You don't see it because you're not smart enough. You don't see it because you don't have media literacy. This is what these people mean by media literacy. They take a fictional story and they make up some unbelievable political bullshit. And they say, well, that's what it is because I can clearly see it as that. No, you are so fucking dumb. It is beyond measure how stupid these people are sometimes, but they'll convince you they're the smartest people in the world because they saw politics in a video game that's about zombies. These are the same people that are currently calling Hollow Knight Silksong transcoded because they saw politics in a game about bugs. What are we doing? So you guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Resident Evil 5? Do you think they're going to remake this game? Do you think this game ever stands a chance for the modern audience? And do you think if the game gets remade faithfully, do you think these journalists are going to go unbelievably insane and attack it the moment the game is announced to be faithful? If it is, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Boys, oof, that was a rough one. That was a rough one. I mean, are we serious? The only acceptable response to a white man shooting waves of Africans for an entire video game is no. Are you kidding me? I mean, I've read this article probably 5 times, and every time I read it, I just remind myself how stupid these people are. They'll remake it and put, oh yes, I've said this. I've said this so many times. I've said this so many times. They'll remake it and put it in South Africa where you just kill white zombies. I have said this so many times on streams. You can go back. Old streams where we talked about Resident Evil 5. They absolutely are going to do this. They're going to put the game in South Africa where it's predominantly white people. It's a lot of white people. And that's going to be the excuse for the race swap. And they're going to be like, well, it's accurate. It's accurate. You'll have all the fucking history, the Wikipedia history buffs. They're going to be like, well, it's accurate. South Africa. This article has to have been written by a chick. I don't know. Was it? Let's see. Was this written by a woman? I don't think so. Nope. Of course. Of course. The white guy is telling everybody it's problematic for white people to shoot down hordes of black people as zombies. Of course. You might as well be a white woman. Might as well be. Of course. Why am I basically a woman? Yep. Basically. Close enough. All right. Let's go through Super Chats, and then we could probably sneak in one more story. Damn, we're making some good time today, man. Tarek for a 5 says also accepting donations of thread rippers. That's crazy. Louis C with a 5. It'd be funny if they skip Resident Evil 5 and remake Resident Evil 6. There's been rumors of that too. I wouldn't be surprised. And then when you ask them about it, they're going to be like, well, we just can't figure out what we want to do in terms of the remake and the story. And, you know, we just saw a better opportunity to remake 6. Like, they would dodge the question so fast. James Opp with a 10. Thread rippers made for high throughput multi-threaded workloads and lack the peak single core performance and boost clocks in exchange for core counts. Good for main games, bad for playing them. I'm assuming you meant good for making games. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you, James Opp. Zero Wisp with a 2. Psycho Stick, I can only count to 4. There you go. The Game Master with a 5. Do these liberal Marxists know Chris is in a black African village, that they were infected by the virus in Resident Evil 5? They do. They do. They said it in the article. They know the story. They know it's fictional. They know it's about fucking zombies, but they still want to make it about race. It doesn't matter. It's crazy, man. Demon Mage with a 4.99. They probably have Shiva as the lead protagonist for Resident Evil 5 and not include Chris. I don't think they're dumb enough to do that. They know they need Chris to sell the game. So I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to change location and race swap the zombies. Personally. Angel of Destiny for $9.99. I don't want Capcom to remake 5. I didn't want them to remake 4. Original RE4 is perfect the way it is. Capcom ain't got the balls to create a faithful Resident Evil 5 remake. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I don't think they're going to do it, personally. I think it's going to be a very long time before we hear anything about an RE5 remake. If they were to do it within the next, let's say, like 5 years, I would be shocked. Genuinely, I'd be shocked. Tarek with a 5. Isn't every game about bugs? In a way, I guess. Game Master with a 5. Let the activists scream their throats out if the developers do not pay attention to them and make it for the global modern audience. I mean, to be fair, they do scream their lungs out all the time. Literally all the time. Like, they're out there. Have you seen what happens at the Game Developers Conference, the GDC conference? These fucking psychos, they get together and they go inside. They go into this like park and they have a scream session for like 5 minutes. It's crazy. It's weird. Denner Ryan with a 5. Off topic. I finally finished Expedition 33. Let's go. Definitely my personal game of the year, but whoever came up with Orstral Climb and volleyball can do that. Nice. Shout out to Denner Ryan, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, bro. Okay, let's see. Do we have time for one more? Let's see. Do we have time for one more? We could talk about Game Pass if you guys want to talk about Game Pass, or we could just get right to the waifu battle. But I don't even think we hit tier 1. So maybe I could do one more and see if we get lucky. But if not, then I guess we just go to the waifu battle, I suppose. The next topic would have been about Game Pass. So about how developers are felting Game Pass. They're just clearly very unhappy with the service, and yet for some reason they all keep using it. It's a little weird. There are probably more African races than African game players, to be fair, like in the Asian market. So if they wanted to sell more copies, they could pander to anti-African racism. Fair enough. A lot of people are saying talk about Game Pass. That they're interested in that. All right, I mean, we could do that. Let's talk about Game Pass. Maybe we get lucky, hit tier 1. If not, it's okay. We're 2151 away from tier 1. Thank you, T-Jet. So that means we're 22151 away from tier 2. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, T-Jet. Let's do it really quick. We'll talk about Game Pass, and then we'll get into the waifu battle. We'll do it. Let me get a drink. Hold on. He's like, I'm down, kid. Oh man, holy shit, that's amazing. All right, boys. So Game Pass, the game. You know, it's crazy how it's either people who worked for Xbox or people who don't work for Xbox. But regardless, everybody seems to have the same idea, the same notion about Game Pass, which is it basically fucks the developers. And you know what's crazy? I have said so many times in many videos, and I can't even begin to tell you how many Xbox people have attacked me over this shit, and it's whatever, it's fine. But the amount of people that have attacked me over my thoughts on Game Pass, when I say, listen, it's amazing for the consumer, but it is really bad for the developers. They're like, fuck you, you should be pro-consumer. I'm like, I am. I'm just telling you what the business side of things are. There's no way that this is like, you know, profitable for most, I would say most developers. I feel like this is just Xbox and Microsoft are using Game Pass and using these developers to feed the beast, you know? Like, I don't see how this is going to be sustainable. The amount of food that the Game Pass needs to stay alive is crazy. And a lot of these developers are sacrificing their games to Game Pass to keep it alive. You know? Like, that's just the business side of things, man. I know Xbox, you know, they don't want to talk about that because they don't want to buy the games, but it's like, that's just what it is, man. In any case, we're gonna talk about it. Speedy Cake with a 10 decided to watch from the beginning, and hearing the booty hole protected by Elizabeth reminded me of the cavity search scene from The Big Stand where Rob Schneider goes to jail with a tattoo. Shout out to Speedy Cake, bro. Thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate that, man. Fucking legend. Legend. Thank you. All right, let's get into it, boys. We're going to start off, I guess, with... Let me see. Because both of these are about Pete Hines, but one is a little bit more aggressive. And the other is a little bit more soft. And ironically, Kotaku's the more aggressive one, which I find to be interesting. Let me see. We'll go with PC Gamer. Fuck Kotaku. What's up, Fall Angel? All right, ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we are going to be talking about Game Pass. Now, Game Pass is something that we discuss quite often on this channel, and every time we discuss it, I always have Xbox fanboys that go crazy in my comments like, you need to leave Game Pass alone. It's the most amazing thing in the world. Stop trying to get them. It's like, bro, I'm not trying to get them to stop anything. I think Game Pass is amazing for the consumer, but what I've always said in many videos is that Game Pass is so obviously bad for the majority of developers that get sacrificed to Game Pass. And the funny thing is that lately, over the past few months, it seems like a lot of either former or Xbox people or former Xbox people that work for new companies now, regardless, a lot of developers that worked with Game Pass in the past are now coming out and speaking out against it and talking about the same exact thing that I've been talking about, which is it's really bad for the majority of developers. Now, one particular person is Pete Hines, right? He's a former Xbox VP, and he says that Game Pass has apparently created a weird inner tension because a game's popularity can actually damage sales overall, and that the majority of game adoption on Game Pass comes at the expense of retail revenue. Now, people will always say, well, Xbox pays them to put their game on Game Pass. And I'm like, sure, that is true. But the simple truth is that it's not enough. It's never been enough. It doesn't matter unless I can understand indie developers. Maybe they're making their first game. If they're lucky enough to be put on Game Pass, they want to sacrifice their game to Game Pass and hopefully get exposure. Maybe. Kinda. You know what I mean? Sort of. But there are games out there that have proven that Game Pass is not going to stop them from getting their game bought because their game is so good that people end up wanting to buy it anyway. Expedition 33 is one of them. Oblivion Remastered is another one. Hollow Knight Silksong is another one that just recently came out. It's on Game Pass. Almost 600,000 concurrent people on Steam. So clearly Game Pass is not an end-all be-all killer. However, it is for games that are not like Hollow Knight, for games that are not like Expedition 33. If there are games out there that are not as good or deemed not a must-have, then what most people are going to do is they're going to say, well, it's on Game Pass. That's where I'm going to keep it. You know what I mean? They're going to keep it on Game Pass. They're not going to bother buying the game, and they're not going to get any retail revenue. And that's exactly what this person is saying. So we're going to check this out and see exactly what he's got to say about this entire situation. Pete Hines, the former vice president of communications and marketing at Bethesda, recently opined on what he described as short-sighted thinking driving subscription-based game services like Game Pass. If you don't figure out how to balance the needs of the service and the people running the service with the people who are providing the content, without which your subscription is worth jack shit, then you have a real problem. Now, again, I fully understand that this is a service that is good for the consumer. There's no doubt about it. For the price they charge, the fact that they have day one AAA games, day one indie games, day one a lot of games on this platform, there's no doubt that it's a good service, okay? However, it's also not a sustainable service, in my opinion. There's just no way. I don't see how this service is going to work for video games when it has barely even worked for streaming, right? So many streaming services have millions upon millions upon millions of subscribers. We're talking about way more than these gaming services have, right? Disney Plus has 150 plus million subscribers and is still not considered profitable. How the hell is that even remotely possible is beyond me, but that's just what it is. Game Pass has less subscribers than PlayStation Plus, and PlayStation Plus doesn't even offer day one video games. So it just makes you wonder, right? And it's obviously clear because PlayStation has a bigger fan base, but regardless, it doesn't matter. The point is, developers, unfortunately, most of them are indeed sacrificing their game to Game Pass to feed the machine. The Game Pass needs as many games as possible, and the more developers they can convince to give their game on Game Pass, the happier the beast will be, but the sadder the developer will be. People are going to say, well, who cares about the developer? Well, you kind of have to, to at least a minimal extent. Otherwise, these games are never going to be made in the first place. Now, the initial investment from Microsoft, I'm sure, is nice enough to make people say, okay, we're willing to take the risk. Maybe Microsoft will give you 20% of your expected sales, whatever it may be. But the simple truth is that most of them don't reach anywhere close to where they could have been if they would have probably sold the game on its own. Now, I do see the benefit of Game Pass for indie developers that probably don't have any fan base, right? Maybe it's a brand new game. They want to get their game in front of as many people as possible. That's fine. But these AAA games with $200 million budgets going to Game Pass and getting barely any retail sales because of it, unless they're really good and people decide to buy them anyway, those games are getting destroyed. Those developers are closing down. How many studios have we seen get closed down, get layoffs, all kinds of nonsense because their game just didn't do well? Their game just didn't sell. And they were Game Pass games. And everybody said, well, we'll just play it on Game Pass. It's not worth me. It's not a game worth me going out there and paying full retail price for when I could play a game like Silksong for $20. Like there's no reason for me to do it. So this has apparently now cause tension. According to him, you need to properly acknowledge, compensate, and recognize what it takes to create that content and not just make a game, but make a product, Hines said in a recent interview with Double Tap. That tension is hurting a lot of people, including the content creators themselves, because they're fitting into an ecosystem that is not properly valuing and rewarding what they're making. Tango Gameworks Hi-Fi Rush is cited as an example of this tension, which, again, I know Hi-Fi Rush was highly loved. Plenty of people loved playing Hi-Fi Rush, but the truth is that Hi-Fi Rush was more downloaded than it was bought, which is the reason why the studio got destroyed in the first place. Now, they got lucky, they got bought out, and another place owns them now, but not everybody's that lucky. The game was, by all reports, a big success, attracting 3 million players and being celebrated by Microsoft as a breakout hit. By the way, this just proves that the whole players engaged metric doesn't mean a fucking thing. This is why when they do the advertisements on X about players engaged, I don't believe a single fucking word they ever say, right? Because for me, players engaged don't mean a goddamn thing. How many people bought your game? How many people actually bought your game? How many people paid money for your game? Right? Your game being played on Game Pass doesn't mean that somebody specifically subscribed for that game on Game Pass. Most likely, they didn't subscribe. Most likely, they were already subscribed and they saw the game available and decided to download it. So you didn't gain a subscription, and that person gained a free game for free, essentially. So what are we doing here, right? Anyway, but 3 million players, many of which presumably arrived through Game Pass, isn't the same as 3 million sales, which is what we've been saying forever, but the shills will tell you otherwise. And in June 2024, Microsoft closed the studio. An explanation for the closure was never really provided. Words were never spoken, but little was said. But the obvious bottom line was that creating a popular game wasn't enough to ensure continued employment. In a subsequent message posted on LinkedIn, former World's Edge studio head and Xbox Game Studio Vice President Shannon Loftus acknowledged the issue, writing, "As a longtime first-party Xbox developer, I can attest that Pete is correct. While Game Pass can claim a few victories with games that otherwise would have sunk beneath the waves, Human Fall Flat, for example, the majority of the game adoption on Game Pass comes at the expense of retail revenue. Unless the game is engineered from the ground up for post-release monetization," Loftus wrote, "I could and may someday write pages on the weird inner tensions that this creates." So, again, guys, all the stuff that I've been saying about Game Pass for the longest time seems to be true, where, sure, it's great for the consumer, it's great for the gamer, and that's great. I want more options for gamers. However, in terms of developers and studios staying afloat and being able to make any sort of retail money whatsoever and not having layoffs and not having firings and all this stuff, it's almost impossible. This is why there are tensions in the AAA industry. This is why when you go the subscription service, you always have to feed the beast. You cannot go 1 month without feeding the beast. If you do, that is going to be extremely problematic, especially in a day and age where prices are rising on all these subscription services. If you are going to continue to do this, you have to keep feeding the beast, which means that eventually you need more and more and more. And in my opinion, it's just not sustainable. So you guys can let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Game Pass overall? I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of Xbox people saying, "Shut up. Don't tell them." Like, guys, they already know. They already know. The developers already know. They know what the truth is, and more of them are speaking out against it. But you guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this? What do you think about Game Pass overall? Do you have Game Pass? Do you utilize Game Pass? Is it useful for you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Good old Game Pass, boys. Game Pass is going to be end up being a shit list eventually. I don't know if it's going to be a shit list necessarily. I don't know if it's going to be that. But I think what it is that it's just a model that doesn't work for the kind of, I don't know. I think it's a model that doesn't work for the kind of content that's being produced, at least not for the money that it's costing. If these, for example, let's say if these studios were to lower their budgets drastically, let's say instead of games costing 200 million, they were costing 50 million, then maybe perhaps Game Pass could work long term, because there's conflicting reports from Xbox on whether or not Game Pass is profitable. You'll hear one person say Game Pass is profitable. You hear another person say Game Pass is not profitable yet. They kind of toss it all up, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that Game Pass is going to work long term under the current way games are made, in my opinion. If they make it cheaper, if they make the games cheaper, then perhaps it could work, you know. But for AAA games, it's too fucking expensive. So Xbox is trying to be a PlayStation Plus thing. I don't think they're trying to be PlayStation Plus. I don't think they're trying to be PlayStation Plus at all. I think that they are trying to be anything but PlayStation Plus. But with that comes a higher cost. You know, listen, it's Microsoft. They're the richest company in the world. They're not going to go broke. They're not going to. They can subsidize Game Pass for 50 fucking years. They could subsidize Game Pass for 50 years. It doesn't matter. But you know who can't be subsidized for 50 years? The studios that are getting felted by this. You know, they can't subsidize it. Because it's not like Microsoft is paying their entire bill. Microsoft is only paying a partial of their bill. You know? So those studios ain't going to make it. And all you're doing is potentially sacrificing your studio to Microsoft. And like I said, there's some games that it's a good idea. There's some games that it's a good idea. If it's an indie game that has no previous fan base, you want to try to get it out there to as many people as possible in the hopes that they fall in love with your product, fine. You know? But at that point, I don't know. We see. We shall see. Orc Dictator, why don't you talk about the non-Microsoft indie devs who praised Game Pass? Didn't we talk about Laura Fryer, who spoke well about Game Pass, but she had her critiques as well? Were you not there for that? Were you not? Do you realize that I'm not attacking Game Pass, right? Like I this is what I can't stand. Big people, you can tell people all the time, like, listen, bro, I'm not attacking Game Pass. I'm just telling you the truth about what it is. And people just like, I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. There have been developers that have praised Game Pass, yes, and usually those developers are the ones that I talked about that didn't have a lot of exposure. So Game Pass was very useful for them if their game happened to hit on Game Pass. But that's probably like 1 out of 100, to be fair. That's probably 1 out of 100 developers that got lucky and their games did well on Game Pass, enough for exposure. You know? And again, boys, I want to make it very clear. Game Pass is amazing for the consumer. If these developers want to continue to whore their games out to Game Pass and people get to have access to AAA games, indie games, day one release, great for you. Fantastic for you. But again, it comes down to whether or not these studios are going to survive. And there's a lot of studios that complain about Game Pass, executives that complain about Game Pass. You can even argue, oh, gee, they're complaining about Game Pass because it eats into their bonuses. That's why they're talking about retail revenue. Sure. But it is what it is. Get paid yet? No, I have not. All right, let's catch up on Super Chats, boys. Where are we at? We got, let's see. We got GDR. With a 5, I am 100% against Game Pass. Subscription services for gaming is the most anti-consumer model imaginable. So it is anti-consumer. It is anti-consumer in the sense that you don't own anything, obviously, right? Like you're not going to own a single thing. But for a lot of people, and I'm just being real with you, GDR, for a lot of people, they don't care, right? Most normie people don't care about owning video games because we have grown up in a world where subscription services are a thing with the death of cable, that they've been preordained and pre-trained to be okay with it. So for them, they're like, well, it's just another Netflix for them. That's basically it. It's just another Netflix. That's literally it, you know? So that's just what it is. Yeah, exactly. The Netflix of gaming. Precisely. What did hold on, there was a comment. The fuck? Right here. People try games on Game Pass. If they're mediocre, they don't buy them. I guess. I mean, again, if you have to use Game Pass to as a you're paying to demo games, I guess. I don't know. I suppose that works. I use Game Pass and buy games I love, but no longer buy the mediocre ones. I suppose. That's fine. Again, there are pros and cons to it. And as mentioned before, I'm not against Game Pass from a consumer side of things in terms of the value. I'm perfectly fine with that. I feel like it's got a decent amount of value to it, you know? But at the end of the day, like, it is not something that's sustainable, in my opinion. It's just not. They said they have to reach about 50 to 60 million subscribers. Last I checked, I think they were at like 35 million or something like that. And you got to keep in mind, not every subscriber to Game Pass is a paying subscriber because it gets bundled with things. So you also have that as well. But I guess we'll see. Can you see Game Pass dying out soon? No. That I don't see that happening. And the reason why I don't see that happening is because Microsoft, just like Amazon is currently subsidizing Twitch, Twitch makes no fucking money, right? Amazon subsidizes Twitch because they want control over the culture of gamers. So they keep Twitch around. They subsidize it every single month, years on end. Microsoft will do the same thing with Game Pass. That is their baby, right? They will subsidize Game Pass to the end of time, and they'll tell you it's the most amazing thing in the world while they do it. That's just how it goes. So I don't think it's going to die out. No, I think they might try to add a new tier of something. Maybe they'll try to, like, I don't know, play around with whatever is day one releases or something like that. I really don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're ever going to get rid of it. No, I don't. Let's continue. We got T-Jap with a 991 says, this is tier 1. Tier 2 is still in the air. This is all. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you, T-Jab. I appreciate the 991. And then we got Xavier with the 5 membership bank.
Holy fuck, these memberships are going insane right now.
Shout out to Xavier. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that, man. Fucking legend. And then we got Game Master with a 5 says, recommend you see my exciting PlayStation 2 retrospective and top PS2 platformer videos, games with no activism. Make sure to subscribe and share. Shout out to Game Master. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate that. GDR with a $50 mega bank. Shout out to GDR. He says, I am not with Game Pass for 3 reasons. Number 1, you own nothing. Number 2, you are at the mercy of Xbox to promote good games and censor others. And number 3, finally, there will come a point when they will have tier systems and paywalls for first-day releases if it takes off. I mean, listen, man, don't they already have that? Number 1. Number 2, I'm sure you're right to an extent. Like I said, I think they're gonna end up playing around with the tiers again at some point to try to make it slightly more profitable. And also, at the end of the day, they can always just raise the price $3 like they do all the time. Every year, they're like raising the price $3. Like, oh, it's got to go up. Due to market conditions, got to go up. You know, so I could see that. I could definitely see that. But who knows? I guess we'll see. Again, every time we have a conversation about Game Pass, the Game Pass lovers, they just get fucking pissed. They get pissed. And I'm like, whoa, relax. I'm just trying to have a business conversation. They're like, fuck you and your business. How come you don't talk about PlayStation? And I'm like, I do have videos about PlayStation. Well, why don't you talk about Nintendo? And I'm like, well, I do have videos about Nintendo. It's like, well, why don't you talk about Steam? It's like, but I do have videos about Steam. Well, you know what? Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, GDR. I appreciate you, bro. Oh, man. Dead Araya with a 5. They'll care once giants like Ubilock games the subs Movies did it. Some aren't on Blu-ray anymore. Plus, censorship is creeping in with altered scenes. True. 100% true. This is why, like, when I buy 4K remasters of older movies, I always double check reviews on them to make sure they didn't censor them, because that's a thing. They try to censor these old movies, man. It's such a bitch. Orc Dictator with 1 membership. Shout out to Orc Dictator. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. Fucking legend. And then we got Somnus with a 5 membership. Bang!
Holy fuck, these memberships are going insane right now.
I had too much fun with AI, man. Way too much fun. Shout out to Orc Dictator and Somnus for the memberships, man. Thank you guys. I appreciate you, man. All right, boys, listen. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. It's been amazing. We are 83 away from tier 2 right now, according to TJAP. Please make sure to join us tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, Hypnocast. If you're not going to stick around for the waifu battle, I appreciate you. Go watch your favorite YouTubers out there. Support them. And join us for Griffcast tomorrow. We may or may not, depending. We may be finishing Metal Gear Solid Delta tomorrow. We may. Or we might be like 2 streams away. I don't know. I gotta see. But we're getting pretty close. So if you want to see the ending of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, come hang out with us tomorrow, Griffcast, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, over on Hypnotic Gaming Live. And on that note, let's get into the waifu battle, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Battles here. Now, if you guys missed the last waifu battle, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new champion, somebody who actually beat Mount Lady. It was an insane waifu battle. If you missed it yesterday, it was legendary. None other than Bungie NDA, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Bungie NDA from the King of Fighters series, boys. King of Fighters took the fucking belt. It was amazing. It was a crazy battle. It was legitimately a crazy battle. Now, with that being said, we got a brand new waifu joining the squad today. So let's go over the rules. Let's go over the rules before we bring out the challenger. Rule number 1. All super chats during the waifu battle can and will count towards a particular waifu. But the only way that is going to count is if you put the name of the waifu in the super chat first. You got to put the name first. If you do not put the name of the waifu in the super chat first, then it will not count. It doesn't matter who's on screen at the time. Did I say that right? No, I did not. It doesn't matter how big it is. That's what I meant to say. I was too busy laughing at BioT's fucking membership. It doesn't matter how big it is. Pause. If you super chat after the fact and you put the name of the wife you forgot to put the first time first, then I will make it count. Look at these chats, bro. We don't need no stinking rules. Rule number 2. You can vote for any wife regardless of who's on the screen. It doesn't matter. You can vote for the champion, who is Bungie NDA, or you can vote for the challenger, who you're about to find out. It doesn't matter who's on the screen at the time. Last but not least, after the second waifu comes off screen, I'm going to do a 30-second countdown. After that 30-second countdown, no more super chats are going to count. It doesn't matter how big they are. And the last super chat that shows up on my screen is going to be the one that counts. So please, if you're going to vote, vote early and vote hard, ladies and gentlemen. Do we understand the rules? We most definitely do not understand the rules. I want to be very clear about that. I feel like that's pretty obvious at this point. All right, boys, listen. We got a fighting waifu champion, which means the only thing we can do is bring out a fighting waifu challenger. Right? That's the only thing we can do. Because that's the only thing that makes sense. All right, boys. Making her debut in the waifu battle is going to be none other than the one and the only Christy from Tekken. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start the clock and let's see who is going to win. Where's Mike Hollow during these waifu battles, man? We got fighting waifus up here. We got fighting waifus up here, man. Chocolate time, according to Joel Jimenez. Chocolate time. Oh my God. We got Christy versus the one and the only Bon Jeanette. Let's see who is it going to be. Who is it going to be? Everybody keeps saying vote Christy. Well, I don't see anything right now. I don't see anything right now. I don't see anything right now. On a serious note, look at the banger coloring job. That artist is a pro. I think that artist might be called AI. Oh, man. Where's Frieren? She's dead. She's dead. GDR killed her. GDR killed her. Tariq starting us off with a $20 banger. Says Christy, so I can get tossed around the ring. Please and thank you. Very nice. Very nice. Good way to start it off. A $20 banger for the challenger. You love to see it. You love to see it. And then we got Xavier with the Golden Sun profile picture. For a 10 banger says Christy. Let's fucking go, boys. And look at this guy, of course. Panda Nautic with a 2 saying Panda, of course. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? People in the chat are saying Bon Jeanette, but they're not actually voting for Bon Jeanette. So let's go. What are we doing? What are we doing? Where's Gilf Serenity? She died. She died, unfortunately. So Gilf Serenity will not be joining us for a long time. R.I.P. to Serenity. It was nice knowing her. Because it's Pandanotic? Sure. Sure. PayPal still has not paid me. So it looks like we are not going to be streaming on Rumble any longer. So if you guys are watching this stream on Rumble, I would highly suggest you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you aren't already, at least for the next couple of days until we figure out what's going on. Tariq with a 5, Hypnotic because nobody ever votes for Hypno. Oh, that's nice of you. That's nice of you. Yay, I got a 5. I'm in it to win it. Let's go. I would also probably look into if you paid Rumble, I would look into why your super chats did not go where they're supposed to go. So we need an AI female Hypno now? No, we don't. No, we don't. Randall Hess with a 5 says Bon and Christy. Oh, wait. So we got a split. Oh, snap. I was about to say Bon Jeanette. Bon Jeanette was about to get banned from the waifu battle, bro. She's getting felted right now. This is crazy. I got to bring out a banger picture. Don't worry. Lucky for me, I got exactly that. All right, boys. It is time to bring out Bon Jeanette. She's got to help us get to tier 2 somehow, some way, ladies and gentlemen. And let's start the clock and let's see who is going to win. Is it going to be Bon Jeanette or is it going to be Christy? Let's find out. GDR says this is going to be an easy add up. Wow, he's talking so much shit. That's insane. Ali Kusanagi with a 10 says Bon Jeanette. Yo, GDR, you with us today? Talking so much shit. Talking so much shit to GDR. You love to see it. That's crazy. Gray the Merchant with $1. Christy, hey, all another day of work. Just juggling wife, work, and gaming with minimal sleep. Worth it. Also to Mount Lady fans, get fucked with Sonia's beads. Rumble will also stay fucked too. Oh my God. Shout out to you, bro. For $4.99 says Christy and I think it's time for you to sue Rumble. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Not even worth it, bro. Just rather not even give it the time of day. I can help with that with a $4.99 says Split. Where's the names though? Where is the names? Yeah, you could count it, T-Jeff. That's fine. Where's the names? Dragon with a 5 says Bon Jeanette. Look at me. I'm the captain. All right, so the Bon Jeanette fans are coming out now. Randall Hess with a 5 Bone. I like her a little more. All right. This is the age-old battle of vanilla versus chocolate. Fallen Angel with a 10. Bone and Christy, both my post. $7 for Bon Jeanette and $3 for Christy. That's rough. That's a rough split. Rough split. So clearly he likes the Snow Bunny more than the dark chocolate. Clearly. A vanilla fan here. Dark Exile says, I'd Bone Jeanette. Xavier with a $20 banger says, Christy. The challenger is still ahead by a decent amount. This might be a sweep against Bon Jeanette. Quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate. I guess we're going to see what happens. Thank you, Xavier. Bro, every time I see your profile picture, I want to play Golden Sun. Like, literally every time. It's such a problem. It's a good problem. It's such a problem. One day, I will. But I want to play it like old school, you know what I mean? I want to play it on the Game Boy. You know, I don't want to play it on the computer or anything like that. Like, I want the old school feel. Oh shit, T-Jab says we have officially hit tier 2. The ears are going on, boys. Holy snap, we made it. It's getting harder without Rumble, I gotta be honest with you. But we made it, boys. We made it. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. We hit that tier 2 again. 135 streams in a row, even though Rumble's fucking with us. Very sad. Very sad. Louis C. with a $15 banger says, Jeanette, I have come to bone. BioT Wolf with a 5 says, Bone Jeanette, where in the world is GDR? Twisted Master with a 2. Christy. Oh, man. People are starting to come out now. All right. Well, we're going to see what's going to happen here in 5 seconds. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, mods, the last one that is going to count is I Can Help With That with $1.99 saying Christy and Bon Jeanette split, which officially fixes his previous one that he gave earlier as well. Mods, let's count it up. Feed the ducks and feed the eagles. Let's see who won this waifu battle. I have a feeling it's probably Christy. Probably. But you never know. Let's find out. Let's see. BioT Wolf says, well, no, GDR. He's not gonna vote, bro. GDR says he wants Fear and waifus, and then he'll vote, and then I bring Fear and waifus, and then he's not here. Makes me sad. Makes me sad. Sad panda. Gray the Merchant for $1 over on Rumble. Last one on Rumble, I guess. Get your shit together. The peeps who rely on you are being screwed by Rumble's BS. To that, every bead's up on Rumble Corpos and a black mamba for the platform. Shout out, bro. I'm gonna miss streaming on Rumble, but until they fix their shit, I just can't do it. I hope people understand. And it sucks that you got to be put in that position. It really does suck. So, and like, keep in mind, like, it fucks with me too, man. They're fucking with my business, my everything. You know, Rumble was growing very nicely. Rumble was doing very well. People were finding us there, and they're just whatever the hell they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. So, fucking bitches. That's all I can say. We don't have enough pandas. LOL, just kidding, mate. Love to all the pandas. We got a lot of pandas, unfortunately. And they're all gooners. Every single one of them. Every single one. Denariah says, I was about to switch to Rumble, but the app is not working. I'm telling you, man, something's up with Rumble. I don't know what's going on, but it's not looking good over there. Which is really sad, but it's not looking good. How unfortunate to Rumble. Why use the platform that promised to pay you if it doesn't? Yeah, I don't know. I can't recommend it. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Again, not only are you taking money from me, but you're taking money from people who watch me. Like, they're taking all the people on Rumble. They're taking their money, and they're not giving it to the person that they should be giving it to. Rumble getting debanked? I doubt that. At least right now, anyway. It's not PayPal. I've gotten no messages from PayPal, no nothing. Normally, PayPal would not hesitate. They would not hesitate to reach out to someone and say you've been debanked and all that stuff. It's not them. It's not them. It's Rumble. You want to know how I know it's Rumble? Because they said they paid me and they didn't. That's basically it. So I'll keep you guys informed. I'll keep you guys up to date. And if anything changes, obviously I'll let you know. I'll let you know. The numbers are not in yet, which means that this might be a close battle. Somebody said, what about Kick? Yeah, no, Kick doesn't, Kick is not growing at all for me. At all. Yeah, so was I, Taurik. So was I. Oh, here we go. The numbers are in. The numbers are in. The numbers are in. Turn off the music. That's fairly close. That is fairly close. Holy shit. The Challenger Christie at $66.97 against the former champion Bon Jeanette with $49.58, which means the winner and the new waifu battle champion and the winner of the vanilla versus chocolate is none other than the chocolate. Christy, ladies and gentlemen. Not bad. Not bad at all. Excuse me, sir, but I'm going to need you to put a major pause on that. A major pause on that. Because that was gay. Very gay. And on that note, I am sure there are people coping and seething.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so high. Coping and seething.
And that is going to be it for the waifu battle, ladies and gentlemen. Christy's going to go backstage where she will face off against another waifu tomorrow. Hypnocast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do not miss it. Do not miss it. All right, boys, listen, we got a couple of super chats from before the waifu battle that we got to get to. We got Vindictus Prime with a 2. I have 80 terabytes of storage of movies and TV cuff streams. That's crazy. 80 terabytes. God damn. Shout out to you, bro. Trooper with a 5. Can't believe Rumble is stifling the great Hypno Jones like a Vegas hooker. Shaking my head. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. And I think that's the only 2 that I missed. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only 2 that I missed. All right, boys. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the stream, liking it, commenting, spamming the chat, super chatting, gifting memberships. Again, if you haven't joined us yet for Griffcast, we had some good numbers the last few streams. We had like 120 people watching, give or take. Make sure you guys come join us for Metal Gear Solid Delta. We might be finishing that tomorrow. If we're lucky. Shit, I might even stream tonight for all I know. Let me just go over gifted games really quick because we have apparently 2 gifted games. We got one from Angmar WK. He gifted Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. From the moment Edward Carnby and Aline Cedric set foot on Shadow Island, they are confronted by mysterious evil creatures, intent on thwarting their progress to recover 3 ancient tablets, believed to hold the secret key to some incredible menacing phenomena. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much. We are going to be cooking for October. I got to tell you, October is going to be crazy. We're going to have so many like horror games. I don't know how we're going to get through all of them. Get the fuck out of here, bro. No Hearts Left. Gifted Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Battle Destiny Remastered. Dude. You can never go wrong with a Gundam game. Manga recommendations. Oh, these are good. Hold on. These are good. Mad, Lost End, Tugananki, Tentacle Hole. Tentacle Hole. Where's Blue Octopussy? Tentacle Hole. Succubus and Hitman. And when trying to get back at the hometown bullies, another battle began. Shout out to No Hearts Left for gifting Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Battle Destiny Remastered. Thank you so much, bro. That is amazing. Legitimately amazing. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Angmar WK, as well, bro. You're a fucking legend. I appreciate you, man. Thank you guys so much. You didn't have to, but you did. Look at this girl. I am busy reading smut. Oh, my God. Seriously. All right, boys. No, seriously, thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate it again. Sorry to everybody over on Rumble. It really fucking sucks. And I'm going to continue working in the back to try to fix this. If it's fixable, I don't know. If it's not, then I really don't know what to do. But I don't feel right streaming there if that's what they're going to do. So I'll keep you guys informed, obviously, on YouTube. If you guys can watch on YouTube every now and then if you want. Or just stick to my Twitter and see if there's any announcements if they end up fixing everything. But I'm gonna be trying. I'm gonna be trying and see what I could do. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting on Rumble while you did. I appreciate you. Shout out to the Hypno Mods for doing what they do every single day as well. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, go be bigots and go be gooners, and stay to the end for the raid. All right, stay to the end for the raid. Seriously. Bye.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men. And I got news for you. That means you get.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. a dog, or a cat was named Vagina. Vagina. Vagina.
Put a ticket in Maker Gang. Fuck Indiana Jones, put a ticket in Maker Gang. Fuck it again, put a ticket in Maker Gang. It means put a chicken in it greedy and make it back again. Fucking pronouns! Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day California shit! Cause that's all we fucking know! Cause we're boring! We're so fucking Get it right!
At the touch of the black man, I bring life. I bring life. I bring life. I bring life. I bring life.